I collect attributes in the apocalypse. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 301 Obtaining Dongfang Ling's Permission. The reason why he came so far to attend the trade fair, besides understanding the specific strength of the Qinglong Gang, was to get the third-level energy crystal. It must be said that the temptation of the third-level energy crystal to the evolvers was too great. Even Lin Fan could hardly resist such temptation. Fortunately, he finally won two in the auction, and this trade fair was not in vain. First, he put one of them on the sofa, and Lin Fan held it tightly in his palm, ready to absorb the energy. Just like before, after holding it tightly for a while, the energy in the crystal began to flow into Lin Fan's body through his palm. The cells in the body became very active at this time, madly absorbing this influx of energy, making their own body stronger. Not long after, the energy in the crystal was completely absorbed by Lin Fan. Lin Fan's mind moved, and he read his own data with a ring. Species, human level 3 strength, 11 speed, 11 reaction, 11 defense, 9 ability. Acquiring. Looking at the information on the light screen in front of him, Lin Fan raised a corner of his mouth. The benefits of absorbing level 3 energy crystals for level 2 evolvers are huge. By absorbing one's own data can be increased a little. Such a speed of improvement is simply incomparable to ordinary means. Taking a deep breath to calm down his excitement, Lin Fan picked up the second level 3 energy crystal, held it tightly in his palm, and continued to absorb the energy in the second crystal. While Lin Fan was absorbing the crystal energy, two figures stood in a villa in another direction of the base. These two voices appeared at the trade fair today. They were the leader of the Qinglong Gang, Dongfang Ling, and the deputy leader, Tianziabing. Boss, I just counted it. Today we have harvested a total of 230 tubes of mutagenic factors. While Tianziabing was talking, he quickly took out the harvested mutagenic factors from his pocket and placed them neatly on the table in front of him. Dongfang Ling glanced at the mutagenic factors on the table and said, "The harvest on the first day was somewhat beyond my expectations. Yeah, I didn't expect to have such a harvest on the first day, especially the 3 level 3 energy crystals that were auctioned at the end. We expected to harvest 90 tubes of mutagenic factors from the 3 crystals, but we didn't expect to harvest 116 tubes of mutagenic factors from the 3 crystals, a full 26 tubes more," Tianziabing said. "This is all thanks to the bidding of the Li family and the Meng family." Dongfang Ling nodded. He directly mentioned the Li family and did not mention Lin Fan. It is enough to prove that in his eyes, he also did not think that Lin Fan, such a young boy, had so much financial resources and must have helped the Li family to bid. "Boss, to be honest, I'm surprised that the Li family can come up with so many mutagenic factors. I don't know if it's because the Li family itself has a lot of resources, or if they got a lot of benefits after getting rid of the banker." Tianziabing frowned and said, "But I think that whether it's the former or the latter, they are telling us that we must not let the Li family continue to develop like this, otherwise it will definitely become a big threat to us in the future." "Well, I understand this." Dongfang Ling looked in the direction of Zhonghe City and said, "The mutagenic factors harvested at tomorrow's trade fair will definitely not be more than today. But in 2 days, I estimate that there will be close to 400 tubes of mutagenic factors. In this way, we can create 400 first-level evolvers. With this foundation, our expansion speed will be much faster." "Li family, Zhonghe City, no more than 3 months at most. We must get rid of them and occupy Zhonghe City." "Boss is wise," Tianziabing echoed. "In 3 months, I believe that the Li family cannot develop too strong. The most important thing is that the newly created evolvers also need a certain amount of time to hone and improve. Combat experience is very important for an evolver. A first-level evolver without rich combat experience may not be much stronger than those powerful taekwondo masters, and that would mean nothing for an evolver. Therefore, they also need a certain amount of time to be fully prepared. By the way, gang leader, do you want to keep Li Zihan and the others?" Tianziabing thought of this question and asked without hesitation. "What's your opinion?" Dongfang Ling looked at Tianziabing and asked back. Tianziabing thought for a while and said, "Gang leader, I personally think that they can be kept. Li Zihan is the granddaughter of Li Xiannian and the only daughter of Li Changjin. If we hold her in our hands, it can also be a threat to the Li family. At that time, maybe we can force the Li family to surrender. Of course, even if we don't use such means, our King Longgang is sure to get rid of the Li family. Tian Xiaobing is full of confidence in his own strength. In fact, in his opinion, as long as they want, they can all be unified within half a year. When we do things, we focus on the results, not the process. The winners are the kings and the losers are the bandits. This has been the same truth for thousands of years. Dongfangling's eyes flashed with a chill, and he said, since you think it's more beneficial to keep them, then keep them. Just leave this matter to you, I just need to see the results. Okay, boss, I know what to do. After the trade fair ends tomorrow, they will be completely kept. Tian Xiaobing nodded. Well, go back. It's also very hard to host the auction today. I will continue to let you host it tomorrow. Go to bed early. Dongfangling waved his hand. Yes, Tian Xiaobing replied respectfully, and then without delay, he turned around and left here and returned to his own villa. As soon as he returned to the villa, Liu Feng came to him. Deputy boss, Liu Feng greeted respectfully. Speak, Tian Xiaobing said lightly. Everything is normal in the accommodation area, and nothing unusual has been found, Liu Feng reported. Have you arranged people to keep a close eye on the villa where the Li family lives? Tian Xiaobing asked. I have arranged 8 people around the villa, watching them all the time, Liu Feng said. 8 people, Tian Xiaobing frowned. You arranged so many people, don't let them notice. Don't worry, deputy leader, they are very cautious and won't be noticed, Tian Xiaobing replied quickly. It's good as long as they are not noticed, Tian Xiaobing waved his hand and said, in addition, I have just discussed with the leader, and the leader agreed to keep Li Zihan and others and not give them the opportunity to leave. You can go ahead and do this boldly, did the leader agree? That's great, Liu Feng's eyes showed excitement. Although they had previously thought of not letting Li Zihan and others have the opportunity to leave, they never asked Dongfangling. Now Tian Xiaobing has asked Dongfangling and got Dongfangling's consent, which means that they don't have to worry about anything. Chapter 302 Double Happiness. After the excitement, Liu Feng calmed down and asked, Deputy Gang Leader, when do you want to start? Of course we have to wait until the end of the trade fair tomorrow. Can we start now? Tian Xiaobing glared at Liu Feng and said, the Li family is now a thorn in our side. There is no problem with targeting the Li family, but we cannot target other family forces at the same time. Otherwise, if they unite to resist, it will also be a big obstacle to our unification. The gang leader does not want any mistakes or unnecessary troubles in this matter. Liu Feng knew Tian Xiaobing's temper, and Tian Xiaobing knew Dongfangling's temper even better. Although Dongfangling seemed to be very friendly on the surface, when Dongfangling really got angry, it could definitely be described as a volcanic eruption. Therefore, Tian Xiaobing did not dare to disobey Dongfangling's arrangement. Okay, Deputy Gang Leader, I understand, Liu Feng nodded quickly. Go down, Tian Xiaobing said. Yes, Liu Feng walked out of the villa. At this moment, for some reason, Tian Xiaobing always had a bad premonition in his heart. But he didn't know where this premonition came from. Shaking his head, he didn't think about it anymore, walked back to his room, and lay down on the bed to rest. In the living room, Lin Fan was still sitting on the sofa absorbing the energy in the crystal. The process of absorbing energy is a very enjoyable state for an evolver. Lin Fan closed his eyes, ignored everything else, and quietly waited for the energy in the crystal to continue to flow into his body. He could clearly feel that his body was moving towards a stronger level. And that level was the 3rd level evolver he was looking forward to. Time passed by bit, and when the 3 horizontal bars on the 3rd level energy crystal in his palm disappeared, the energy in the crystal was completely absorbed by him. However, at this moment, Lin Fan felt as if a subtle humming sound sounded in his body, and his whole body trembled. Breakthrough. Lin Fan knew that this was the result of his breakthrough. He successfully upgraded from a 2nd level evolver to a 3rd level evolver. Check, he said in his heart. The light screen information of his own data appeared in front of him again. Species, human level, level 3 strength, 12 speed, 12 reaction, 12 defense, 10 superpower, telekinesis, primary. Seeing the data displayed on the light screen, Lin Fan was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes burst into a strong surprise. Although he was also surprised that he became a level 3 evolver, He was more surprised that his superpower finally appeared. For such a long time before, it had been displayed as being acquired, which made him think that there was an error in the data given by the ring, resulting in his failure to acquire the superpower. He never thought that this breakthrough to become a level 3 evolver would actually allow him to successfully acquire the superpower. It must be said that this was a very unexpected surprise. Telekinesis, Lin Fan blinked. This superpower sounded high-end and classy. From the literal meaning, it was obvious that he could control objects through induction. His mind moved, and all his attention was focused on a teacup placed on the table in front of him. Suddenly, the teacup moved slightly, but it was only for a short moment, and then it stopped in place. It really works. Although he only made the teacup move a little, Lin Fan's face was filled with ecstasy. This was enough to prove that his guess was correct, that he could control things with his mind. As for the proficiency of control, it must be related to the degree of practice. The longer you practice, the more proficient you can be. Thinking of this, Lin Fan continued to focus on the teacup and practice. He made rapid progress. From the beginning, he could only make the teacup move a little, and now he can make the teacup move a short distance on the table. However, he can't control the teacup from the table yet. In short, being able to do this step already shows that his talent in supernatural powers is quite strong. In the following time, Lin Fan kept trying to control the teacup. The teacup can already move freely on the table quickly, and he is trying to control the teacup to fly off the table. This itself does not conform to the law of gravity, but since supernatural powers exist, there is nothing impossible. The next second, the teacup slowly left the table and quickly rose to a height of more than 10 centimeters above the table. Lin Fan couldn't hide the smile in his eyes. His mind moved again, and he controlled the teacup to move closer to him. It can be clearly seen that the teacup is moving horizontally in midair. Although the speed of the horizontal movement is not fast, it still appears in front of Lin Fan very quickly because of the short distance. Lin Fan stretched out his hand and grabbed the teacup in his hand. He stared at it and murmured, "When moving on other objects, you don't need to control the height, so you can move very quickly, but when controlling in midair, you must do two things at the same time. Not only must you control the height of the teacup, but you must also control the direction and speed of the teacup's movement. People who are not responsive enough can't do this." Lin Fan's summary is very accurate, and the fact is indeed the truth. Controlling on the ground and controlling in midair are completely different concepts. Controlling on the ground is simpler, and controlling in midair is more complicated. However, these are not a problem. As long as you practice more, you will definitely be able to adapt. Immediately, he tested the distance again. He found that with his current ability, he could only control things within 10 meters at most. For things beyond 10 meters, no matter how much he concentrated on controlling them, it was useless, as if he had lost his ability. I think the distance of controlling things should be related to the level of the ability. The higher the level of the ability, the farther the distance that can be controlled. Lin Fan was silent in his heart. He has just obtained the ability, which is only at the elementary level. When the ability is upgraded to the intermediate level, the control distance will increase. But the control range of 10 meters is enough for him now. This ability is perfect for sneak attacks. Then get a small dagger or some small darts, so that the sneak attack will be more effective. Lin Fan's eyes flashed with a smile. Imagine that when he is fighting with others, he is fighting hard, and he suddenly uses his ability to control a dagger or a dart to attack from behind the opponent. When the opponent is concentrating on facing him, how can he think of such a sneak attack? Even if he senses it, he may not be able to resist it in time. Therefore, his special ability of using a small dagger and darts to launch sneak attacks can definitely achieve the effect of surprising the enemy. Chapter 303, Parking Lot Someone. With this idea, Lin Fan quickly threw himself into the new training. His strength had just broken through to the third level of evolution. His cells were very active, and he didn't feel tired at all, so he didn't need to sleep. For several hours, he kept training. Although he hadn't reached the level of free control, he had no problem controlling the cup to move within a range of 10 meters. "Collect," Lin Fan silently said in his heart, and his mind moved slightly. The cup slowly fell from midair and landed on the table, making only a slight collision sound. He looked outside and saw that the time was almost up, and they should act. Lin Fan got off the sofa and walked towards Murin Zhu, Murin Shan and Li Zihan's room, waking up the three girls who were sleeping. "Pack up the things you need to take," And we'll go to the parking lot now, Lin Fan said as he glanced at Murangzu and the other two. By the way, brother Lin Fan, aren't there 8 people arranged by Liu Feng watching outside the villa? If we walk out of the villa like this, I'm afraid they will easily find us, right? Murangshan reminded. I'll take care of this, Lin Fan smiled and said, you guys pack up, I'll go out and take care of the people guarding the main gate. Anyway, we're going out through the main gate of the villa, so don't worry about the other directions. They might still be asleep, okay, then go ahead, we'll pack up first, Murangzu nodded. Yet, Lin Fan didn't delay and walked out of the living room. He had also observed before that there was indeed only one person Liu Feng had arranged to watch them in the direction of the gate, and it was on a tree opposite the villa. Lin Fan stood at the gate of the villa and looked at the tree. With his sharp eyes, he could see that the person was still on the tree. However, he should be sleeping. Although the other party was asleep, it would be better to knock him down completely for safety reasons, so as not to be discovered when the 4 of them came out to act, which would undoubtedly cause greater trouble. Lin Fan approached the tree carefully, and as expected, the other party was indeed lying on the tree and fell asleep. It's not his fault that he didn't do a good job. It was late at night, and there was no one around to talk to. There were no mobile phones or other entertainment devices to play with. In such a boring situation, it was normal to fall asleep. Lin Fan came under the tree, and after seeing the other party's position, he focused his eyes and jumped up without hesitation. The moment he jumped on the tree, there was naturally a sound. The sleeping other party suddenly opened his eyes and saw that it was Lin Fan who appeared in front of him. He couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Obviously, he didn't expect Lin Fan to come to him at this time. The next moment, he suddenly realized that something was wrong. When he was about to open his mouth and shout, Lin Fan's fist had already landed on his head, knocking him unconscious. Lin Fan continued to let him lie on the tree, then jumped down from the branch and returned to the villa. I knocked that man unconscious. Have you packed up? Lin Fan asked. Everything is packed, Murangzu, Murangshan and Li Zihan replied in unison. They didn't have too many things to pack, and they put everything they should bring into their backpacks. Okay, let's go to the parking lot, Lin Fan continued to remind them. Although it's late now and most people are asleep, we still have to be vigilant when we walk outside. It's better to walk in groups of 2 and at a certain distance to reduce our target and thus reduce the chance of being discovered. 2 people walking together will definitely be less conspicuous than 4 people walking together. Hearing what Lin Fan said, Murangzu, Murangshan and Li Zihan naturally had no objection. Xiao Shan, you walk with me, Xiao Zhu, Zihan, you walk together, Lin Fan arranged, Xiao Shan and I will walk in front, and you just follow behind, no problem. Murangzu and Li Zihan looked at each other and nodded at the same time. Let's go. Lin Fan stretched out his hand to Murangshan, took the lead, and Murangshan immediately followed. After they walked about 50 meters away, Murangzu and Li Zihan walked together. At this distance, whether someone walked out in the middle of the way or encountered any other accidents, they would have a better chance to deal with them. Fortunately, they did not encounter any unexpected situations along the way. The 4 of them soon arrived at the parking lot. Murangshan saw the parking lot and immediately relaxed. When she was about to run to the RV happily, Lin Fan quickly reached out and pulled her. Brother Lin Fan, what's wrong? Murangshan knew that Lin Fan would not pull her for no reason, so she asked in a low voice. There is someone over there. Lin Fan's eyes focused and pointed to a place not far away. To be precise, it was the 3rd car next to their RV. Murangzu, Murangshan and Li Zihan looked in the direction of Lin Fan's finger, and a touch of surprise appeared in their eyes. They didn't expect that there was someone here so late. Although they did not see each other's body directly, under the moonlight, the shadow of the other party had appeared on the ground. However, the 2 shadows seemed to be doing some unspeakable actions and were tightly entangled. Even if you listen carefully, you can vaguely hear that special sound. How could Murangzu, Murangshan and Li Zihan not understand what was going on? It turned out that they were a couple who were doing business. They came here secretly so late at night. They must not have a legitimate relationship. They probably came here secretly. There will definitely be some noise when we go to drive. We must deal with them. You wait here for me. I'll go first, Lin Fan pondered. He knew what the 2 people were doing. This kind of scene was really not suitable for 3 girls to see. It was more appropriate for him to go over. Be careful, Murangzu blushed and warned. Yes, I know, Lin Fan nodded, without further delay, stepped around the back of the car next to him, and moved along the wall of the parking lot. In the process, he saw 2 stones on the ground, which were about the size of a baby's fist. Just right for testing, Lin Fan's mind moved slightly, and he directly controlled the 2 stones to fly towards him and was caught in his hand. Yes, he planned to use the 2 stones to knock the other party down, so that he would not scream the moment he appeared and the other party saw him. After all, these 2 people were awake and doing business, not sleeping in the tree. The most important thing is that there is not much cover in the parking lot. When he gets closer, there is a high chance that he will be discovered by the other party first. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 304 Running Away at Midnight. Lin Fan's speed was not slow. He soon came to their RV. He walked over carefully, trying to minimize his footsteps. The couple might have been a little too distracted by what they were doing, immersed in their happiness, and their minds were not on other places. After getting closer, the sound they made became more obvious. Lin Fan shook his head helplessly. These people were really bold to do things, and they even ran to a place like the parking lot. He didn't think much about it. He walked to the back of the RV. Sure enough, he could clearly see that the other party was doing things. The picture was very eye-catching. After all, the 2 people didn't look very good. Lin Fan sneered in his heart, and then controlled 2 stones to attack the couple from behind. He had already calculated the distance just now. From his current position to where the couple was standing, it was definitely within a range of 10 meters. There was no need to worry about the stones not being able to attack. Whoosh! Whoosh! When the stone was less than 5 meters away from the couple, Lin Fan's eyes suddenly focused, and the strength of controlling the stone increased. The speed increased instantly, and a subtle sound of breaking through the air could be heard. Bang! Bang! 2 stones hit the heads of the man and woman at a very fast speed and with great force. As the 2 dull sounds spread, the man and woman could not even react, and their eyes went black and they fainted on the ground. What made Lin Fan feel funny was that after the 2 fell to the ground, they were still hugging each other, as if they were reluctant to separate even after fainting. No longer paying attention to the 2 people who fainted on the ground, Lin Fan walked out from the back of the car, looked at Murengzu and the other 2, waved at them, and signaled them to come and get in the car. Seeing Lin Fan's actions, Murengzu and the other 2 came over without hesitation. Lin Fan opened the door and sat in the driver's seat. He waited until Murengzu and the other 2 got on the car before he closed the door tightly. Even after a while, it can still be seen that the blush on the faces of the 3 girls has not completely faded. It can be seen that the sound they just heard has a great impact on their hearts. Of course, no one will continue to mention this kind of thing. Seeing them sitting in their seats, Lin Fan immediately started the car, stepped on the accelerator, and drove away. After the car left the parking lot, he stepped on the accelerator to the bottom and drove straight to the back door of the Qinglonggang base. The sound of the car driving on the road and the roar of the engine undoubtedly attracted everyone's attention. Not only were the people of the Qinglonggang awakened, but outsiders, such as the Meng family and the Zhang family, also woke up from their sleep. They opened the windows and looked towards the source of the sound. Under the moonlight, they saw a domineering modified RV speeding on the road. Isn't that the RV parked in the parking lot? Yes, that's the one I asked before. That car was driven by Li Zihan and his friends. Li Zihan and his friend's car? Why is it running in the middle of the night? Did someone steal the car? No, this is not a stolen car. It's clearly Li Zihan and his friends driving it. They want to leave here now, while everyone was talking. Some people who reacted smartly thought of the key point and knew that it was not the car thief who drove the car. Damn it. That guy must have run away in the car. The young man from the Meng family was so angry that his face changed. He originally thought that when the trade fair ended tomorrow and Lin Fan and others left the base, he would find an opportunity to attack Lin Fan and let Lin Fan know what the consequences of offending him were. But he never thought that Lin Fan would leave here tonight. Xiao Man. Let's go out and take a look, Meng Yuan said hurriedly, looking at the situation. They should be planning to go out from the back door of the base, but the back door of this base is still guarded, and the gate is also closed. They may not be able to get out. When the time comes, we will take action directly. What if they don't use the 2 third-level energy crystals and want to take them back to the Li family? Then we can take the opportunity to get them. Uncle, you are right. Let's go over and take a look. The young man from the Meng family's eyes lit up and nodded quickly. He hated Lin Fan to the bone and wanted to beat Lin Fan up. But as Meng Yuan said, if they could snatch the 2 level 3 energy crystals from Lin Fan at this time, it would seem to be a pretty good result. In Meng Yuan's opinion, the 2 level 3 energy crystals that Lin Fan bid for must have been bid for the Li family. And level 3 energy crystals are not something that can be found everywhere. He thinks that after Li Zihan gets them, he will probably take them back to Li Xianun, and then Li Xianun will decide how to deal with them. Therefore, if they miss such a good opportunity, it would be a waste. Under the leadership of Meng Yuan, several people from the Meng family rushed out of the villa and headed straight for the back door of the base. Of course, it was not just them who took such actions, the rest of the people also followed suit. These people don't want to miss out on such a fun thing. Strange. Why did Lin Fan and the others leave so late at night? Feng Zhou was a little puzzled and didn't understand the problem. They were most likely forced to leave, second Uncle Feng said. Forced to leave? Second uncle, what do you mean? Did someone force them to leave? Feng Zhou asked hurriedly. Lin Fan had said before that he could go to the Li family with him. He felt that Lin Fan was not the kind of person who would just say it for fun. He also felt that it was very strange that he left late at night without taking him. They showed enough financial resources at the trade fair during the day. Maybe they realized that it would be difficult to leave if they stayed and waited until the trade fair ended tomorrow, so they chose to leave tonight, Uncle Feng said. Hearing this, Feng Zhou was shocked. Could it be that the Qinglong gang wanted to keep them? Who else? Uncle Feng asked back. Then they are going to force their way out now. Feng Zhou frowned and said worriedly, the back door of the base here must be guarded by someone. They are too impulsive. How can they rush out? No, I have to help them. As he said this, Feng Zhou wanted to take his guys to help. Xiao Zhou, Uncle Feng immediately reached out and grabbed Feng Zhou, saying in a very serious tone, this is someone else's territory. How can you do whatever you want? You must know that your every move here not only represents yourself, but also represents our family. Remember not to act impulsively. Let's go and see the situation first. If there is a chance to help, then help. If there is really no chance to help, then don't be reckless, otherwise the whole family will be implicated. Okay, Uncle, I remember. Feng Zhou nodded. He knew that Uncle Feng was right. After all, the Feng family would fall into his hands in the future, and his every move did represent the Feng family. No matter how much he liked Li Zihan, he must not involve the entire family, otherwise he would become the sinner of the family. Chapter 305, Crashing 3 Cars. The actions of Lin Fan and others undoubtedly caused the entire base to explode. Tian Xiaobing was also asleep, but when he heard the noise outside, he immediately opened his eyes. Why is it so noisy? A trace of doubt appeared in Tian Xiaobing's eyes. He turned over and got out of bed and walked out of the villa. As soon as he arrived outside the villa, he saw Liu Feng running towards him in a hurry. Deputy gang leader. It's not good, Liu Feng shouted anxiously. What happened? Tian Xiaobing asked. Li Zihan and the others actually want to leave the base now, Liu Feng said hurriedly. Leave now, Tian Xiaobing frowned. They are driving towards the back door. It seems that they want to go out from the back door, Liu Feng said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Tian Xiaobing's eyes flashed with murderous intent, and said, you still want to go out from the back door? It's really a fantasy. Although the guards at the back door are weaker than those at the front door, it is impossible to break out in a hurry. Deputy gang leader, what should we do now? Liu Feng asked. They made such a noise in the middle of the night and tried to force their way out of our base, seriously disrupting the order of our base. In this case, we can capture them or even kill them without any problem. Tian Xiaobing's face condensed, and he said, however, since they are still useful, let's keep their lives for the time being and just capture them. You should do this now. I'll go to the gang leader to say hello first. We can't disturb the gang leader's rest because of such a small matter. Remember, no matter what method you use, you must capture them. If you let them run away, you will bear the consequences. At the end of his speech, there was already a chill in Tian Xiaobing's tone. Liu Feng suddenly felt like a cold wind was blowing through his body. He couldn't help but shivered, and nodded and agreed quickly. Okay, Deputy Gang Leader, I know, leave it to me, I will definitely capture them, go. Tian Xiaobing waved his hand. Liu Feng didn't dare to waste any time, and turned around and ran towards the back door of the base. On the way, he summoned many of the best players of the Qinglong Gang. Tian Xiaobing had said so much, so he naturally didn't dare to be careless. What's more, he really wanted to kill Lin Fan, which was exactly what he wanted. After seeing Liu Feng leave, Tian Xiaobing didn't waste any time, and turned around and walked in another direction, which was where Dongfang Ling lived. This happened inside the base, and it happened to be during a special period like the trade fair, so he had to report everything to Dongfang Ling. Boom. On a road inside the base, the roar of the engine sounded harshly. In the RV, Lin Fan stared ahead, holding the steering wheel tightly, and sped on the road. Stop. Stop for me, stop quickly. Otherwise we will shoot. You have 3 seconds to think about it. The closer to the back door of the base, the more gang members there were around. Although they didn't know who was in the car, they were sure that driving towards the back door of the base at such a late hour was definitely an abnormal situation. Lin Fan ignored the warnings of these people, as if he didn't hear them at all, and continued to step on the accelerator and rush towards the back door of the base. Shoot! A leader stood on the wall of the back door. After the warning, he saw that the RV still showed no signs of stopping, but instead accelerated towards the back door. He immediately made a decision to let everyone shoot. Bang! 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 In the dark muzzle, the fire kept flashing, and bullets flew through the darkness and quickly shot towards the RV. However, these bullets hit the RV, but they could not bring any damage to the RV, let alone hurt Lin Fan and others in the RV. A bunch of idiots, Murin Shan said unhappily. If our RV can be penetrated so easily by them, then there is no need for us to drive this RV away. They have absolute confidence in the sturdiness of this RV. A level 2 evolver cannot break it open. It must be possible to do so with the strength of a level 3 evolver. Bullets kept hitting the RV, and sparks still flashed, but the speed of the RV did not slow down at all. Brother Yoon. That car is too strong, our bullets can't penetrate it at all. Next to the leader called Brother Yoon, a young man around 23 years old frowned and said, I know. Brother Yoon's face was extremely gloomy. This was purely an emergency, but he knew very well that if the emergency was not handled well and the car escaped from the base, he, as the leader guarding the city gate, would be the first to be punished. Keep shooting. Brother Yoon took a step forward, looked down, and said, You, drive to the gate as fast as you can to block it. I don't believe they can rush out directly. Yes. The people guarding the gate below responded immediately after hearing Brother Yoon's order. There was a car and 2 off-road vehicles next to the gate. Moreover, the drivers were sleeping in the car at this time. Without a moment's delay, the 3 cars quickly drove over and blocked the back door. In this way, the back door was not only blocked by the iron gate, but also blocked by 3 cars in front. If you want to rush out, you must run over these things. Is this possible? In their eyes, the answer is no. These naive guys still want to use cars to stop us. Ridiculous. Murin Shan took a look at the situation in front and couldn't help laughing. Now they are less than 100 meters away from the back door. Those bullets have been ignored by them from beginning to end. Lin Fan stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and the roar of the engine increased to the maximum. Like a tiger out of the cage, he rushed towards the back door. Boom. The car that was blocking the front first came into contact with the RV, and a huge roar sounded in an instant. As the roar spread, it could be clearly seen that the car was crushed under the RV, or it would not be an exaggeration to say that it was smashed to pieces. After crashing the car, Lin Fan still stepped on the accelerator and crashed into the first off-road vehicle. Due to its high height, the off-road vehicle was not crushed under the RV, but was pushed back by the RV. Boom. While pushing the first off-road vehicle forward, it hit the second off-road vehicle, and another sharp collision sound was heard. Although the combined weight of the 2 off-road vehicles is about 10,000 pounds, it does not seem to be an obstacle in front of the powerful power of the RV. The RV directly pushed the 2 off-road vehicles and crashed into the iron gate at the back. Chapter 306 Breaking Out. At this time, Liu Feng also rushed over with his men. When he saw the RV hitting the iron gate at the back door, his eyes were filled with murderous intent, and he also felt a little relieved. On the way here just now, he heard the continuous gunfire here. It was no exaggeration to describe him as an ant on a hot pot. After all, he was really worried. If Lin Fan and others had already gone out before he got here, then things would become very complicated. You know, there are roads outside the base that extend in all directions. Even if they can drive to catch up immediately, it is definitely not as convenient as trapping Lin Fan and others in the base. Trapped in the base, Liu Feng felt that he was 100% sure to capture Lin Fan and the other four, but once Lin Fan and the other four ran outside, this percentage would at least drop by half. So, when he rushed over and saw that the car of Lin Fan and the others had not yet rushed out of the gate, the stone hanging in his heart finally fell. People on the city wall, see if there are any of our brothers outside. If there are, have them drive over quickly to block the entrance, Liu Feng shouted as he ran. If there are no brothers outside, quickly arrange some people to jump over the wall and drive over to block the entrance. The gang leader and the deputy gang leader have given orders that they must not be allowed to escape. If they escape, we will have to bear the consequences. Liu Feng directly brought out Dongfang Ling and Bian Xiaobing to put pressure on these people. There was no other way. The pressure on his head was also very great. If Lin Fan and the others were not taken down, he could imagine that he might not be able to attend the trade fair tomorrow. However, it must be said that his trick was very effective. When those people heard that this was an order from the gang leader and the deputy gang leader, no one dared to slack off. When they saw that there were no brothers outside the city wall, the leader hurriedly shouted, "Quick, hurry down and have some people drive over to block the entrance." As the leader's voice fell, the people on the city wall immediately took action. At least 10 people jumped down one after another, and then quickly found cars outside, ready to drive to the back door to block it. Judging from their posture, it was obvious that they did not intend to give Lin Fan and his men any chance to leave, and wanted to block the back door tightly. "Brother Lin Fan, it seems that we are about to be surrounded." Muran Shan glanced at Liu Feng and others who were chasing after them from behind, and after hearing the arrangements made by the leader, she could not help but frown slightly. Muranzu and Li Zihan had a hint of worry in their beautiful eyes. Their only chance now was to rush out from this back door. If there were many cars outside the back door blocking it as Liu Feng had arranged, then their chances of leaving would be very slim. "Don't worry, we've already rushed out before they drive the car over." Lin Fan smiled slightly, not worried about it. Or rather, he was full of absolute confidence in this RV. Lin Fan glanced at the rearview mirror, and Liu Feng was leading people to surround them from behind, but he was fearless. Because this RV would not be afraid of any attack from a second-level evolver. He put the gear in reverse gear, then stepped on the accelerator, and the RV quickly backed out. Seeing the RV backing up, Liu Feng laughed and said, "They know they can't get out, so we must trap them here and not give them the chance to run around in the base. They spent a lot of manpower and material resources to build this base. Lin Fan's modified RV is so powerful, he is worried that Lin Fan will drive it around the base and damage the buildings in the base." However, when the RV backed up about 10 meters, it suddenly stopped. "Haha, can't get out." Lin Fan had a disdainful smile on his face. He exhaled lightly and shifted the gear again. Boom. The accelerator was stepped on hard, and the engine made an explosive roar. Then, the power and speed of the RV soared, and it hit the two off-road vehicles that were about to be crushed again. Boom. The violent collision brought a shocking sound. Click. This wave of collision not only spread the sound of the collision, but also the sound of the iron door breaking. What? Hearing the sound of the iron gate, Liu Feng felt terrible. Where are the people outside? Tell them to drive over quickly, Liu Feng shouted at the top of his voice. The sound was so heartbreaking. He only realized now that Lin Fan's car was not reversed because he felt that he couldn't get out, but he backed up a distance and then accelerated to rush over, so that the impact would be much greater. "Master Liu, they are looking for a car." The leader on the city wall took a look outside the city wall, then immediately turned back and said, "Master Liu, 2 people have found a car and will drive over soon. Quick. Tell them to come as fast as possible." Liu Feng's face turned red. The RV driven by Lin Fan had a relatively wide distance, and the back door of the base was not built very wide. As a result, after the RV entered the gate passage, they had no space to go in. Of course, Liu Feng also knew that this RV was extremely strong and could not be broken open by ordinary force. The only thing they could do was to block the exit and not give Lin Fan and others a chance to escape. As long as Lin Fan and the others were trapped, Tian Xiaobing would definitely be able to break open the RV when he came. After all, Tian Xiaobing was a genuine third-level evolver, and his strength was not comparable to his. Boom. Lin Fan slightly eased the accelerator, and then suddenly stepped on it, pressing it to the bottom. Click. After this collision, the iron door could no longer withstand it, and finally fell backwards. With a loud bang, the iron door fell to the ground completely. It was knocked down. Looking at the fallen iron door, Murong Shan's pretty face suddenly showed a touch of joy. Just now she was still worried, what if they could not break out from here, but were surrounded and blocked by Liu Feng and others from front and back, then what should they do? Murongzu and Li Zihan were also a little worried, but they always had absolute confidence in Lin Fan, and they believed that Lin Fan's plan would not go wrong. Lin Fan did not disappoint them, and he did knock the iron door open. Without the iron gate blocking the way, this passage was unimpeded for Lin Fan. He stepped on the accelerator, and the RV continued to push the two off-road vehicles forward. At this time, 4 of the people who had jumped off the city wall to look for cars had already found a car and drove over. The cars these 4 people found were all sedans. At this time, they thought the iron gate had not been broken, and were speeding towards the passage. As a result, when they really came over, they happened to encounter the 2 off-road vehicles that Lin Fan had accelerated and hit. Chapter 307 Meng Family Participation. Boom. There is no doubt that the 4 people's cars collided with the 2 off-road vehicles that Lin Fan pushed out with the RV. The 4 cars were still able to withstand the collision and stop the 2 off-road vehicles. However, the RV that continued to rush out from behind made them collide with each other again. This time, the 4 cars could not resist and were knocked back in an instant. No matter how they stepped on the brakes, they could not stop the progress of the backward movement. It is conceivable how great the impact of the RV was. These guys are simply trying to stop a chariot with a mantis arm, Murong Shan said excitedly. In front of their RV, if there were not a lot of cars coming or heavy trucks, it would be impossible to intercept it. After knocking back the 4 cars, the RV had no more obstacles and drove straight out of the passage and quickly left from the back door of the base. Damn it! Get in the car and chase them. We must not let them get away, Liu Feng yelled angrily. He could imagine that if Lin Fan and his companions managed to escape successfully, a tragic end would surely await him. Meng Yuan watched this scene and had his own thoughts in mind. The next moment, the young man from the Meng family said, "Uncle, shall we chase them too? We can't let them run away like this. Otherwise, we don't know when we will catch them next time. Besides, I'm sure that they left in such a hurry that night, and they definitely didn't use the 2 level 3 energy crystals. We can only catch up with them to get the 2 level 3 energy crystals." His hatred for Lin Fan had reached a certain level, and he was unwilling to not catch Lin Fan. Meng Yuan was also a man of swift action. He nodded and said, "Okay, let's chase them and see, but we have to talk to Master Liu about this matter first, lest he thinks that we are leaving tonight too, and it will be bad if there is a misunderstanding." "Okay, uncle, I'll go drive first, and you go tell Master Liu." After the young man from the Meng family said this, he turned around and drove. When he thought about taking down Lin Fan and getting the 2 level 3 energy crystals, he couldn't help but feel excited. If all 3 level 3 energy crystals fall into my hands, maybe I can become a level 3 evolver, the young man from the Meng family thought to himself. He still had the level 3 energy crystal that he got at the auction at the trade fair, and he didn't use it until he returned to the Meng family. Meng Yuan came to Liu Feng as fast as he could. At this time, Liu Feng was already sitting in the car, preparing to chase Lin Fan and his friends. "Master Liu, wait a moment," Meng Yuan said hurriedly. "Meng Yuan, what do you want?" Liu Feng frowned and asked. "Master Liu, our Meng family is also willing to contribute to the pursuit. I wonder if Master Liu agrees that our Meng family will go together to capture them." Meng Yuan didn't beat around the bush and directly stated his intention. "Okay. Of course I agree," Liu Feng nodded and agreed without saying a word. He was quite clear about the strength of Meng Yuan and the strength of the people from the Meng family. Moreover, at the trade fair, the Meng family had obviously formed a grudge with Lin Fan and his friends. He was confident that the Meng family would not play tricks when they offered to help. Moreover, if the Meng family joined the chasing team, it would also increase their chances of catching up with Lin Fan and his friends. From a certain perspective, this would reduce the risk of him being punished. How could he refuse? "Thank you, Master Liu. My nephew's car is behind us. You guys go first and we'll catch up, Meng Yuan said. Okay, Liu Feng stopped talking nonsense and waved his hand, saying, let's go. The driver drove out and chased Lin Fan's RV at the fastest speed. After Meng Yuan got on the car driven by the young man from the Meng family, he did not delay either. The 4 people from the Meng family followed him. I didn't expect their modified car to be so powerful. If it was another car, we would definitely not be able to get out today and would be trapped here, Uncle Fang said with some emotion as he stood on the road. Fang Zhou nodded and said, it's good that they got out. I think with the condition of their car, Liu Feng and others probably won't be able to catch up. That's not clear, but we can't get involved anymore. The family should be the most important thing, Uncle Fang said, leaning close to Fang Zhou's ear and whispering, regarding what happened tonight, no matter whether Li Zihan and his friends can escape successfully, the Li family and the Qinglong gang have completely come to a showdown and have a feud. This means that sooner or later, there will be a battle between the Li family and the Qinglong gang. What our Fang family has to do is wait for the Li family to contact us, and then see what preparations and strength and resources the Li family has made. If it is enough to fight the Qinglong gang, then we will stand on the side of the Li family. If not, I guess the Li family will do the same as us and think of a retreat and evacuate Zhonghe province. After all, we are unwilling to surrender. That means we will completely become tools to help others do things. We have to do whatever others ask us to do. This is not the situation your grandfather wants to see. Second Uncle Fang is a visionary man, and naturally he considers things much more comprehensively than young people like Fang Zhou. After listening to what Second Uncle Fang said, Fang Zhou nodded seriously and said, Second Uncle, I remember that no matter what I do in the future, I will always put the family first. Well, it's good that you understand. Second Uncle Fang reached out and patted Fang Zhou on the shoulder, saying, okay, let's go back first. We will definitely hear the result of what happened just now during the day, and it's useless to stay here now, okay? Fang Zhou nodded again. When Fang Zhou and others returned to the room to rest, the other spectators who came out also returned to their respective rooms. Because Lin Fan and Liu Feng and others had all gone outside the base, they had nothing to do if they stayed, so it was more important to have a good rest. Deep in the base, in an extremely luxurious villa, 2 figures were sitting on the sofa and talking. These 2 voices were Dongfang Ling and Bian Xiaobing. Boss, I have asked Liu Feng to take people to capture Li Zihan and others. I believe Liu Feng will not let me down. Tian Xiaobing had just briefly reported the situation to Dongfang Ling. Dongfang Ling did not express much opinion on this matter. He just felt that Li Zihan and his men were quite courageous to cause trouble in his base. The most important thing was that he was still in the base, not outside. It was impossible for someone without courage to cause trouble at this time. Of course, he was also full of confidence in his men and believed that they would not let Li Zihan and his men escape. Report, however, at this moment, a somewhat hurried voice came from outside the door. Chapter 308 Picking Up Andy. Come in, Dongfang Ling responded calmly upon hearing the voice outside the door. A man about 25 years old quickly walked into the living room and greeted them first. Boss, Deputy Boss, what's the matter? Dongfang Ling asked. Boss, I just got the information that Li Zihan and his group escaped from the base, the man said truthfully. What did you say? Tian Xiaobing stood up from his seat suddenly and looked at the man. Did they escape? Yes, Deputy Boss, they escaped, the man nodded. How could they escape? Tian Xiaobing's eyes flashed with disbelief. There was someone guarding the back door of the base, and he asked Liu Feng to chase after them quickly. No matter what method was used, how could they escape in this situation? Deputy Boss, it's absolutely true, the man said. Dongfang Ling narrowed his eyes slightly. He believed that the person who came to report the news would not dare to tell a lie, that is, Li Zihan and his group did escape. It seems that we underestimated their strength, Dongfang Ling said calmly. Tian Xiaobing continued to look at the man and asked, where's Liu Feng? Master Liu has taken people out to chase them, the man replied. This bastard. He can't even do such a small thing, Tian Xiaobing couldn't help but curse. Then, he looked at Dongfang Ling, bent down and said, Boss, I didn't do this well. I will chase Li Zihan and the others now and will definitely bring them back. When he said this, he had already cursed Liu Feng countless times in his heart. This was on their territory, and they let a few young people escape. If this matter spread, wouldn't their Qinglong gang become a joke in the entire Zhonghe province? Therefore, Tian Xiaobing decided that he should go out in person and bring Li Zihan and the other 4 back no matter what. No need. Dongfang Ling shook his head and interrupted Tian Xiaobing's thoughts. Boss, Tian Xiaobing was stunned. Leave the pursuit to Liu Feng and the others. You have more important things to do. The daytime trade fair must proceed as usual, and you have to preside over the auction. Dongfang Ling looked towards the back door and said, give Liu Feng another chance to see if he can bring Li Zihan and the others back to the base. If he can, then he will be forgiven. If not, then there is no need for him to be alive then. Dongfang Ling also had murderous intentions towards Liu Feng. Although this matter was considered as Tian Xiaobing's wrong use of people and inappropriate arrangements. But Tian Xiaobing is still a 3rd-level evolver, the strongest person in the entire Qinglong gang except him. He can't just kill such a strong person. There will be more things to do if Tian Xiaobing is left. But Liu Feng, a 2nd-level evolver, is different. Once Liu Feng fails to bring Li Zihan and the others back, he must kill the chicken to scare the monkeys, and someone must be found to bear the consequences. This is not to say that they have so many level 2 evolvers that they can kill them at will, but to let everyone know that there will be punishment for doing something wrong. Otherwise, anyone can make mistakes, and then everything will be in chaos, right? Yes, gang leader, Tian Xiaobing nodded in response. Tian Xiaobing could only choose to obey Dongfang Ling's arrangements. Of course, what made him feel relieved was that Dongfang Ling's words just now revealed that he would not blame him, and all the responsibilities were pushed onto Liu Feng. If Liu Feng could bring back Li Zihan and others, he could continue to live and avoid death. If Liu Feng could not bring back Li Zihan and others, he would surely die. Okay, go back and rest. If there is anything, we can talk about it during the day. Dongfang Ling waved his hand. Yes, Tian Xiaobing responded again, and then left the villa with a man who came to report the news. After walking out, Tian Xiaobing asked alone, do you know how many people Liu Feng brought to chase? Deputy gang leader, I really don't know. When I got the news from there, I rushed over to report. However, I heard that the Meng family also went with Master Liu, the man said. Did the Meng family also go? Tian Xiaobing's eyes flashed with doubt. Well, this is what I heard, and I can't be sure of the details, the man said vaguely. This news was indeed what he heard. Therefore, he didn't dare to express too much certainty to Tian Xiaobing. If the news he got was wrong and Tian Xiaobing misunderstood, then he would suffer. Okay, I know, you continue to watch at the back door. If you have any news, you must come to my place and tell me immediately. Do you understand? Tian Xiaobing urged. Understood, I'll go now, the man nodded, and then quickly ran towards the back door. He would rather watch at the back door, even all night, than stay with a dangerous person like Tian Xiaobing, which would make him feel a layer of invisible pressure. Tian Xiaobing did not delay any longer and quickly returned to his villa. Brother Lin Fan, they seem to have caught up with us. In the RV, Murin Shan looked back and found that there were many cars chasing closely behind. She knew without guessing that they were Liu Feng and others. It's okay, let them catch up. Lin Fan was not worried about this problem and said, let's go to the abandoned factory first to see if Andy is there. If she is there, we will take Andy with us. If she is not there, we will leave first. After getting rid of those people, we will find a chance to return to find Andy during the day. When Lin Fan went out the back door, he had already made a plan. The abandoned factory was not too far from the Qinglong gang base. With the speed of this RV, it didn't take long to arrive at the gate of the abandoned factory. Andy is there. I have seen it. Murin Shan kept staring outside. As soon as the car drove to the gate, she shouted excitedly. Lin Fan also saw Andy. He honked the horn. After Andy recognized it as an RV, he rushed towards them at a thunderous speed. Lin Fan opened the car door, and Andy got in quickly. Then, Lin Fan closed the door again and continued driving on the road. This series of actions can be said to be done in one go, without wasting any time. Andy, Murin Shan quickly squatted down and touched Andy's head with her hand. Seeing Andy get in the car, Murin Zhu and Li Zihan also smiled at each other. Lin Fan tilted his head and glanced at it, and smiled faintly. Fortunately, I told Andy before that it should wait at the abandoned factory at any time, otherwise it might not come to the abandoned factory to rest at night. Andy is so smart, even if we don't find it now, maybe it can find its way back to the Li family directly, Murin Zhu said. This is really possible. Li Zihan nodded and said, Andy has mutated, and his memory is not necessarily worse than that of humans. It should remember the way we came, and it is not too difficult for it to find its way back. Quotation mark. Chapter 309, Counterattack Plan. After Li Zihan said this, Lin Fan felt that it was very likely. After all, Andy had followed them across provinces before, and maybe he was still smelling their scent to find them. A dog's sense of smell is many times stronger than that of a human, not to mention that Andy is an evolving and changing dog, so he must have greatly improved in these aspects. Andy, you have to be good. Muran Sham continued to touch Andy's head with her hand and talk to Andy, as if she was coaxing a child who couldn't speak. This scene made Muranzu and Li Zihan couldn't help laughing. Xiao Shan, don't treat Andy as a child, Li Zihan said with a smile. Sister Zihan, Andy is a child. Look how cute it looks, Muran Shan said. Lin Fan shook his head helplessly. They seemed to have forgotten what was happening outside. Thinking of this, he glanced at the back through the rearview mirror. Although they didn't waste any extra time in picking up Andy, the RV stopped for a while. The distance between them and Liu Feng and the others, which was 300 meters, has been reduced to about 200 meters. However, Lin Fan is not worried about this distance. As long as they have more time, the distance will be further away sooner or later. Huh? Lin Fan looked around and suddenly noticed another car in the rearview mirror. That car was very different from the others. It was obvious that it did not belong to Liu Feng and the others. Look at the back, there seems to be a blue car. Can you recognize it? Lin Fan asked. Hearing Lin Fan's question, Muran Shan and Li Zihan turned their attention away from Andy and looked back together. Sister Zihan, we seem to have seen that blue car before, Muran Shan said vaguely after staring at it, but she didn't remember it very clearly and was not sure. Yes, I have seen it, Li Zihan nodded and said, I remember now, that was the Meng family's car. The Meng family's car. Lin Fan was slightly startled. Yes, it was the Meng family's car, I remembered it too, Muran Shan nodded and said, Brother Lin Fan, didn't we visit other family forces before? When we visited the Meng family, we happened to see another person from the Meng family driving this car. Well, at that time, they seemed to drive the car from the parking lot to the villa and take something off the car. We happened to meet them when we walked out of their villa. Muranzu also remembered this incident at this time. The three of them went to visit the Meng family that day. Because they heard from the Meng family that the Meng family had no intention of opposing the Qinglong gang, they did not stay for too long. As a result, when they came out of the Meng family villa, they saw this blue car parked there. Haha, it seems that the Meng family hates us to the core. It's really interesting that they are chasing us with the Qinglong gang at this time. Lin Fan smiled indifferently. It's a pity that we are too few in number and our geographical location is not advantageous. Otherwise, we could have killed them directly. Maybe the third-level energy crystal that the Meng family kid bought at the auction has not been used yet, which means it is equivalent to giving it to us. Muran Shan sighed slowly. As the saying goes, the speaker is unintentional, but the listener is intentional. Muran Shan's words immediately reminded Lin Fan. Xiao Shan, you reminded me, Lin Fan smiled faintly. Brother Lin Fan, what did I remind you of? Muran Shan was stunned. You said that it is possible that the third-level energy crystal that the Meng family bought at the auction has not been used yet. We can take it from them, and then it will become ours, Lin Fan said. Brother Lin Fan, it is possible that they did not use the third-level energy crystal. But the problem is that they have more people now, and we can't sneak attack. How can we kill them? Muran Shan asked curiously. Muranzu and Li Zihan were also very curious. The enemy had at least 100 people chasing them. Although there should be no level 3 evolvers among them, the number of level 2 evolvers was unclear. If they had an advantage and could launch a sneak attack like they did against the Li family before, it would be better. But now the enemy was chasing them relentlessly, and they didn't even have the chance to hide and launch a sneak attack. Therefore, the three girls didn't understand what Lin Fan's plan was. As long as there are no level 3 evolvers in their team, it will be easy, Lin Fan said with a smile. This sentence made the three girls stunned. Muranzu was the first to react. Lin Fan, have you already broken through to the third-level evolver? Yes, Lin Fan smiled. I will break through tonight. I have already absorbed the 2 third-level energy crystals. If they hadn't provided energy, my strength wouldn't have broken through so quickly. Brother Lin Fan, you're so good. You didn't tell us that you became a third-level evolver. No wonder you asked us to rest before. It turns out that you were busy breaking through. Murong Shan rolled her eyes at Lin Fan in annoyance and complained about it. Although it was a complaint, anyone could tell from her tone that she was happy for Lin Fan. Murongzu and Li Zihan were also happy for Lin Fan. The third level evolver was a threshold to become a strong person. Lin Fan, congratulations, Li Zihan said sincerely. I didn't expect you to become a third level evolver so quickly. It's all the benefits brought by the third level energy crystals. Speaking of which, I have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I guess I still don't know what energy crystals are. Lin Fan smiled faintly. This is also a very true statement. If it weren't for Li Zihan, he might not know about energy crystals at this stage. Even if he knew about it in the future, it would be in the future. You have only absorbed 3 level 3 energy crystals in total. You can break through to become a level 3 evolver so quickly, which shows that your talent is really high. If it were someone else, even if they absorbed 3, they might not be able to achieve your level, Li Zihan said. Sister Zihan, stop praising brother Lin Fan. I'm afraid he will be proud, Murong Shan said. I don't praise him as much as you do. You are the one who praises him the most, Li Zihan joked. Murongzu glanced at them, shook her head helplessly, then looked at Lin Fan and asked, Lin Fan, how do you plan to deal with him? Speaking of the main topic, Lin Fan put away the smile on his face and said, first find a place with a slightly advantageous terrain, and then I will face them head on, and you just hide in the dark and use guns. After all, I am now a third level evolver. If I face them head on, they can't hurt me at all. There was one more thing Lin Fan didn't say, that is, his defense data reached 10, and facing an ordinary second level evolver. He really had to stand there and let the opponent hide him, and the opponent might not be able to hurt him. Chapter 310 Waiting on the Roof. However, he was not afraid of Liu Feng and others, but Murongzu, Murong Shan and Li Zihan did not have the strength and defense data like him, so he had to ensure that the 3 of them would not be hurt. And to ensure that the 3 of them would not be hurt, the safest way was naturally to let them stay in a hidden place and shoot. Liu Feng and others naturally did not know Lin Fan's plan. In the car, Liu Feng frowned. Damn it. Can you drive faster, Master Liu? This is already the fastest. The driver smiled bitterly beside him. The main reason is that the speed of that car is too fast. It is difficult for us to catch up. Don't give me a fucking excuse. I'm telling you solemnly now that if we can't catch up, we will all be in trouble, Liu Feng said sternly. He fully understood the style of Dongfang Ling and Bian Xiaobing. Letting Lin Fan and the other 4 successfully escape from the base was already a big mistake. If they still couldn't catch up with Lin Fan and the other 4 and bring them back, you can imagine how serious the consequences would be. Yes, the driver didn't dare to refute anymore and could only nod repeatedly. In another car, the young man from the Meng family also stepped on the accelerator to the bottom and drove frantically to catch up with the RV in front. Unfortunately, the situation they encountered was the same as Liu Feng and others. Even if they drove at the fastest speed, the distance between them and the RV could not be shortened. Uncle, if this goes on, it seems that we can't catch up with them. The young man from the Meng family's face sank slightly. He had already driven at the fastest speed, but still couldn't close the distance between him and Lin Fan and others. Meng Yuan could naturally see this situation, but he was powerless and said, continue to chase first. In case the road ahead changes, he may not be able to maintain such a fast speed. Well, this is the only way, the young man from the Meng family nodded. Lin Fan, go to the left at the fork in the road ahead. I remember there is a large amusement park on the left. If we want to deal with them, we can go to that amusement park. Li Zihan looked ahead and said, there are high-rise buildings around the amusement park. The 3 of us can hide in the high-rise buildings and shoot. Okay, let's go to the amusement park you mentioned. Lin Fan nodded. The moment the car drove to the fork in the road, he turned the steering wheel and drove to the road on the left. Liu Feng and the young man from the Meng family who were chasing behind chose to follow without hesitation. At this time, they had only one goal, that is, they would go wherever the RV went. They had to catch up with the RV no matter what, otherwise they would never give up. On the left road, after driving for about 5 minutes, a large amusement park appeared in the side of Lin Fan and the other 4. It's there, Li Zihan pointed. Yes, Lin Fan nodded again, drove the car to the amusement park, and went straight to the center of the amusement park. Take your guns and bullets, and go find a suitable place to hide around. Lin Fan parked the car and said. Okay, brother Lin Fan, then you should be careful, Murin Shan nodded. Be more careful, Murin Zhu and Li Zihan also reminded. Then, the three of them took the guns and bullets as quickly as possible. Andy, you should go with them. Lin Fan looked at Andy. Andy nodded his head and got out of the car with Murin Shan and the other two. Let's go over there. Murin Zhu glanced around and locked the direction on the left. There was a building about 50 to 60 meters high, which was almost the highest floor around the amusement park. From there, they could clearly see the entire amusement park. In this way, it would be much easier to shoot. Seeing Murin Zhu and the other two and Andy walking into the floor, Lin Fan did not delay and walked out of the car, and then jumped onto the roof. He was going to stand on the roof and wait for Liu Feng and the young man from the Meng family to come in. At the same time, Liu Feng and the young man from the Meng family and others chased to the gate of the amusement park. In this case, they only knew that the RV had driven into the amusement park, but they could not see where the RV was now. Therefore, they were completely unaware of the separate actions of Lin Fan and his companions. Master Liu, they have entered this amusement park. The driver glanced at the gate of the amusement park, then turned his head to look at Liu Feng and said, should we go in or not? Nonsense, we chased them here just to catch them. Now that they have driven their car into this amusement park, either their car is broken or they have run out of gas. This is a great opportunity for us. If we don't go in quickly, should we wait until they run away before going in? Liu Feng scolded angrily. Yes, 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 the driver nodded quickly, not daring to say anything more, and continued to drive into the amusement park. In the blue car following behind, Meng Yuan frowned slightly and said, strange, their car is going faster than ours. They could obviously continue driving, so why did they suddenly drive the car into the amusement park? Is there some conspiracy? Hearing Meng Yuan's words, the young man of the Meng family shook his head and said, Uncle, don't think too much. There are only 4 of them. There are so many of us. Even if they really have some conspiracy, are we afraid of them? Besides, I don't think they have any conspiracy. Maybe the car broke down or ran out of gas, so they had to drive to this amusement park. His opinion coincided with Liu Feng's. They both felt that there was something wrong with the RV. Meng Yuan nodded and said, yes, I was overthinking. There are only 4 of them. Except for Li Zihan, the other 3 have not even reached the strength of a level 2 evolver. There is no need to worry. Well, we should hurry in and follow them. Otherwise, if they get off the car and run away, it will be a waste of time. The young man from the Meng family drove while talking, following Liu Feng and others. Soon, they drove the car to the center of the amusement park. Master Liu, the RV is parked over there, said the driver. Drive over and take a look, Liu Feng ordered. When the driver was about to drive closer, he suddenly noticed someone on the roof of the RV. Master Liu. That kid is standing on the roof, the driver said hurriedly. Liu Feng looked closely and saw that Lin Fan was standing on the roof, and his eyes were looking at them. Just park the car here. I want to see what tricks this kid wants to play, Liu Feng said in a deep voice. Lin Fan was standing on the roof waiting for them. He believed that as long as Lin Fan was not crazy, he must have some tricks prepared. But he had absolute confidence in the strength of their lineup. No matter what tricks Lin Fan was going to play, he was not afraid. The car stopped, and Liu Feng and others got out. Several people from the Meng family also got out of the car. Everyone's eyes turned to Lin Fan. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 311 Angry. Boy, run, why don't you keep running? Liu Feng looked at Lin Fan on the roof of the car. Even a person with impaired senses could hear the anger in his tone. He was really mad at Lin Fan and wanted to peel off Lin Fan's skin. Master Liu, what you said is not very nice. Lin Fan smiled faintly and said, we came to participate in the trade fair. We are free and can leave whenever we want. We just chose to leave tonight, but when we drove to the back door, you made such a fuss and asked people to shoot. Is this your way of treating guests? Lin Fan talked to Liu Feng not because he wanted to talk to Liu Feng, but because he was waiting for all the people in the cars to come out. Although he guessed that there were no third-level evolvers of the Qinglong Gang and Liu Feng and others' team, it was still a guess, and he could only be sure after seeing it with his own eyes. Moreover, Murengzu and the other two climbed to the roof of the building, and it would take some time to find a good angle to shoot. It was not impossible to deal with Liu Feng first. Boy, don't try to make excuses here. You left suddenly in the middle of the night. I think you must have done something wrong and are afraid of being discovered by us, Liu Feng sneered. In short, no matter how much you say today, it's meaningless. Just surrender and return to the base with me, then your fate may be better. What if I don't go back? Lin Fan asked back. Not going back, Liu Feng snorted coldly and said, then don't blame me for being cruel. So, Master Liu, you plan to take me back by force? Lin Fan asked with a smile. Not you, but the four of you. Liu Feng glanced and said, where are Li Zihan and the others? Let them come out. He had already paid attention and did not see the figures of Li Zihan, Murongsu and Murongshan in the RV. Although he hated Lin Fan to the bone and wanted to kill Lin Fan the most, from the perspective of the Qinglong gang, they had to face the Li family, and Li Zihan was the most critical. If Li Zihan was not taken back, then he would still be severely punished if he only took Lin Fan back. They've already left. I'm the only one waiting for you here. Lin Fan smiled faintly. What did you say? Liu Feng's face suddenly became extremely gloomy. But soon he changed his mind and thought that Li Zihan and the other two would definitely not leave Lin Fan alone, because during his contact with him, he could feel that Li Zihan and the other two were full of concern for Lin Fan. So, he guessed that Li Zihan and the other two should be hiding somewhere. It doesn't matter. As long as they take down Lin Fan, they don't have to worry about Li Zihan and the other two not showing up. Master Liu, I think it's better not to talk nonsense with him. Wouldn't it be better to take him down directly? The young man from the Meng family walked forward and said with a sneer. His hatred for Lin Fan was no less than Liu Feng's hatred for Lin Fan. If it weren't for Lin Fan, he wouldn't have auctioned off so many mutagenic factors and a level 3 energy crystal flower. Counting the double amount to be returned, that's a real 54 tubes of mutagenic factors. Just thinking about it makes me feel painful. What? Master Liu, you brought helpers with you? Lin Fan glanced at the Meng family youth and said sarcastically, what a pity. The kind of people you brought with you are not my opponents at all. I can defeat him with just one hand, boy. What did you say? The Meng family youth face changed and he couldn't help but scold. In front of so many people, Lin Fan said that he could defeat him with just one hand. Isn't this obviously looking down on him? No matter what, he is also a second-level evolver. How can he bear Lin Fan trampling on his dignity? Don't believe it, Lin Fan smiled and said, then you can come and try. If I can't defeat you with one hand, then I will voluntarily go back with you. In fact, Lin Fan also disliked the Meng family youth. It was just such an opportunity, so it was not impossible to humiliate him first. Okay. I want to see today how you can defeat me with just one hand. The Meng family youth was furious and rushed directly to the RV. Xiao Meng, Meng Yuan shouted hurriedly. Uncle, don't worry, I will let him know how powerful I am. The young man from the Meng family did not look back or stop, but just said this to Meng Yuan. That kid is only a first-level evolver, you really don't have to worry. Liu Feng glanced at Meng Yuan and said, it's not certain where Li Zihan and the others are now, let's wait and see. It would be best if we can use this kid to lure Li Zihan and the others out, okay? Meng Yuan nodded. Although his strength is not necessarily worse than Liu Feng, you have to know that Liu Feng is the leader of the Qinglong gang. If they follow him out this time, they must follow Liu Feng, otherwise Liu Feng will complain to Dong Fangling or Tian Xiaobing, and then it will be difficult for the Meng family to get along. On the roof, Murengzu, Murengshan and Li Zihan stood by the guardrail, and the three of them looked towards the loyal position of the playground. Moreover, in the hands of the three of them, each of them held a sniper rifle, ready to shoot at any time. Sister, that guy seems to be the guy from the Meng family, right? He rushed directly towards Brother Lin Fan, and it seems that he is going to attack Brother Lin Fan. Should we shoot him? Murengshan asked. Don't worry, Murengzu's beautiful eyes condensed, and said, that man went alone, and he must have been provoked by Lin Fan, which means that Lin Fan deliberately let him do it. Deliberately? Murengshan was stunned. Yes, Murengzu nodded lightly and said, have you forgotten? At the trade fair, although he suffered a loss, the attitude he showed was also very angry. I guess Lin Fan might want to beat him up alone. Anyway, don't shoot first. It won't be too late for us to shoot after Lin Fan gives us a signal. I believe he will give us a signal. Murenzhu can be said to know Lin Fan's thoughts best among the three. Her guess happened to be in line with what Lin Fan thought. After listening, Murenshan naturally chose to follow Murenzhu's arrangement. Li Zihan had the same feeling and said, well, Sister Zhu is right. What's more, Lin Fan is now a level 3 evolver, and that man from the Meng family is only a level 2 evolver. There is no way he can be Lin Fan's opponent. He took the initiative to rush over to find Lin Fan, which is purely asking for humiliation. Oh, that's right. Brother Lin Fan is now a level 3 evolver. I almost forgot about this. Murenshan gently patted her forehead with her hand. She really didn't think about it just now, otherwise she wouldn't have asked the question of whether to shoot or not. Chapter 312, Still a Breath. In the amusement park, seeing the Meng family youth rushing out of the crowd and coming towards him, Lin Fan's eyes suddenly showed a disdainful smile. This guy, today he must let him feel the difference in strength. Thinking of this, Lin Fan did not delay, jumped off the roof of the car, and asked the person standing on the ground. The Meng family youth rushed over quickly, a fierce look flashed across his face, his palms clenched tightly, and punched out. The power of his punch was very strong, and he aimed at Lin Fan's head. It was obvious that he intended to knock Lin Fan to the ground with the one punch, so that Lin Fan could not even stand up. Bang! When the Meng family youth's fist appeared in front of Lin Fan stretched out his hand and grabbed it accurately. After becoming a third-level evolver, Lin Fan saw that the attack of the Meng family youth, who had just entered the second-level evolver, could be described as very slow. With such an attack speed, he could easily capture it clearly. The young man from the Meng family suddenly changed his expression when his fist was caught by Lin Fan's palm. He didn't expect Lin Fan to react so quickly. The next moment, he was ready to retract his fist and attack Lin Fan again. But what he didn't expect was that after his fist was caught by Lin Fan, it seemed to be stuck in the mud. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't retract his fist. Why is this happening? A thought flashed through the young man from the Meng family's mind. Isn't Lin Fan a first-level evolver? How can he be so powerful? Impossible. The young man from the Meng family gritted his teeth. He couldn't accept this fact. He didn't have time to retract his fist. He raised his foot and was about to kick Lin Fan. Snap! Lin Fan still saw his movements very clearly. He even slapped his thigh with his hand at a faster speed, causing him to put his leg back immediately. Hiss! There was a sharp pain from the place on his thigh that was slapped, causing the young man from the Meng family to tremble uncontrollably and take a breath of cold air. It hurt, but it was more of a shock. He never thought that Lin Fan's strength would be so strong. This is definitely not the strength that a first-level evolver can possess. Snap! Lin Fan did not give the Meng family youth too much time to think. He raised his mouth slightly, and his other hand quickly slapped a Meng family youth in the face. With a loud slap, the Meng family youth's body flew directly to the side, fell to the ground and rolled several times before stopping. When the Meng family youth looked up again, with the help of the moonlight, he could clearly see that half of his face not only had deep 5-finger marks, but also had his face swollen. Xiao Meng. Meng Yuan was in a bad mood when he saw this scene. That was the future heir of their Meng family. If he suffered any serious injuries, how would he explain to his family when he returned to the family? Uncle, I'm fine. Seeing that Meng Yuan was about to run over to him, the Meng family youth quickly said while enduring the pain, and then stood up from the ground. Meng Yuan stopped when he saw the Meng family youth stand up again. The young man from the Meng family stared at Lin Fan and said coldly, I underestimated you just now. I didn't expect that you are not a first-level evolver at all. Not a first-level evolver. Meng Yuan turned to look at Liu Feng immediately after hearing this. The meaning was obvious, asking Liu Feng what was going on. Liu Feng was also very surprised. When Lin Fan dealt with the zombies that day, he was only a first-level evolver. It was impossible for him to be wrong. This kid must have just broken through, Liu Feng said with great certainty. I saw him fight with my own eyes 3 days ago. At that time, he didn't even have the strength of a second-level evolver. He must have made a breakthrough in these 3 days. From Liu Feng's tone and attitude, Meng Yuan didn't find that Liu Feng was lying, so it seemed to be true. Of course, even if Liu Feng lied, he didn't dare to cause trouble for Liu Feng. At most, he would keep this matter in mind. I never said I was a first-level evolver. You thought so? Lin Fan smiled indifferently and said, you said you were careless just now. Now I'll give you another chance. Don't be careless again. If you are careless again, the end will be even worse. The Meng family youth snorted, put the pain behind his mind, and rushed towards Lin Fan again. After the experience of suffering a loss just now, he was much smarter this time. When Lin Fan was more than 3 meters away, he jumped up and kicked, no longer using his fists to attack Lin Fan. With the speed and power of this sprint, the strength of his kick was undoubtedly much stronger than normal. Let's see how you resist, the Meng family youth said in his heart. He didn't believe that Lin Fan could still block his attack. You have the nerve to use such a petty trick to embarrass yourself. Facing the Meng family youth foot attack, Lin Fan smiled indifferently. Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his right foot and kicked out at a faster speed, hitting the crotch of the Meng family youth squarely, as if there was another special sound of breaking. Ah! A pig-killing scream came out from the Meng family youth, and his body fell back to the ground along with his screams. Then he covered his crotch with his hands, screaming and rolling in pain, looking as pitiful as he could be. There was no way, mainly because the force used by Lin Fan just now was not polite at all. A kick like this in a place like that, the effect of pain can be imagined with the toes. Meng Yuan, Liu Feng and others were dumbfounded again. The first time, they underestimated Lin Fan's strength. This time, they definitely didn't underestimate him, right? But why is it the same result? It seems that they were defeated even more miserably. They couldn't even get close to Lin Fan's body, and were kicked away by Lin Fan. Xiao Meng, Meng Yuan didn't care so much this time, and ran towards the Meng family youth. The other 2 people from the Meng family also followed. Meng Yuan and the other 2 came to the young man from the Meng family and immediately helped him up from the ground. At this moment, the young man from the Meng family had tears in his eyes, and he cried so hard that he didn't know how sad he was. First, it was the severe pain, and second, he knew very well that Lin Fan's kick almost made him lose his fertility. Uncle, kill him for me. I want him to die. In the pain, the young man from the Meng family still locked his eyes on Lin Fan. He looked at Lin Fan and his voice seemed to tremble. After he finished speaking, he fainted directly, and no matter how Meng Yuan and the others shouted, he didn't wake up. Don't worry, he's not dead yet, he still has a breath, Lin Fan smiled faintly. Chapter 313 Take it together. The young man from the Meng family was indeed not dead. Although Lin Fan's kick broke 2 of his things, it did not kill him. At most, he was just dizzy for a while. Meng Yuan's face at this moment was as ugly as it could be. He looked at Lin Fan with murderous intent in his eyes. Little bastard. I'm going to take your life today, Meng Yuan shouted. Then, he glanced at the other 2 members of the Meng family and told them, take good care of him. Yes. The 2 Meng family members nodded and quickly took the young man from Meng Yuan's hands to support him. After doing all this, Meng Yuan was ready to deal with Lin Fan. Meng Yuan, however, before he could take action, a light shout came from behind. This shout was naturally from Liu Feng. He knew how strong Meng Yuan was. Even if Lin Fan had become a second-level evolver, he would never be Meng Yuan's opponent. There is no problem in letting Meng Yuan take down Lin Fan, but Meng Yuan is angry at this time and has a strong murderous intention towards Lin Fan. He is worried that Meng Yuan will really wipe out Lin Fan. In that case, how can Li Zihan and the other 2 appear again? This kid is someone our Qinglong gang wants to keep. No one is allowed to kill him before our gang leader speaks up, including you, Liu Feng said in a deep voice. Hearing Liu Feng mention the title of gang leader, Meng Yuan calmed down instantly. Although the Meng family is not a small family, its strength is definitely not comparable to that of the Qinglong gang, and they dare not offend this behemoth. Haha, Master Liu, my life can still make your gang leader worry about it. It seems that my life is still very valuable. Lin Fan looked at Liu Feng and smiled faintly. Liu Feng stared at Lin Fan coldly and said, boy, when you fall into my hands, I will let you know how valuable your life is. As he said that, he stepped forward, waved his hand, and said, surround this place for me. Yes. After the gang members who came with Liu Feng responded, they took action without hesitation, forming a circle and surrounding the RV and Lin Fan in the middle. Lin Fan glanced over and now he could be 100% sure that no 3rd-level evolvers followed. Because everyone in the car had come out. He used the ring to check the data of these people clearly. Including Liu Feng and Meng Yuan, there were a total of 10 2nd-level evolvers and 20 1st-level evolvers, and the rest were all ordinary people. You can't escape today. Seeing that everyone surrounded Lin Fan in a circle, Liu Feng showed a vicious smile on his face. Escape, Lin Fan smiled faintly, looking at Liu Feng and others with a look of looking at a fool, and said, "Who told you that I want to escape? Who told you that I brought you here to escape?" Liu Feng caught some of the hidden meaning of Lin Fan's words, and he frowned. Could this guy really have a conspiracy? However, there are so many of them, and they are such a strong lineup. Even if Lin Fan has a conspiracy, what does it matter? No matter what tricks you have, it can't change your ending today. Liu Feng took a deep breath, waved his hand, and said, "Surround him and catch him." Yes, everyone answered in unison. However, just as they were about to step forward to surround him, gunshots rang out. Bang! 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 Continuous gunshots were heard, and those who were surrounded in the outer circle were shot one after another, and collapsed to the ground with screams. These bullets were naturally fired by Murenzhu, Murenshan and Li Zihun. They had been paying attention to Lin Fan's actions. At that moment, Lin Fan had already made a gesture for them to shoot. This gesture, in the eyes of others, may be a very casual action, but they can understand that this is Lin Fan signaling them to shoot. There is an ambush. Everyone disperse. Don't stand together. Liu Feng reacted suddenly, his face changed drastically, and he shouted loudly. Help Xiao Meng hide behind the car. Meng Yuan also immediately reminded the two Meng family members. Bang! 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 The gunshots continued, and the bullets were rampant. The people of the Qinglong gang kept falling to the ground. Even if they tried hard to find shelter, in the process, the bullets of Murenzhu and the other two would not be polite to them at all. Liu Feng's cold eyes locked on Lin Fan, and he cursed, "You actually let them sneak attack in secret." Secretly, Lin Fan smiled and shook his head, saying, "This is not in secret, but the night has fallen and the light is not good. They definitely did not hide on purpose. At most, they found a suitable position to shoot." This made Liu Feng very angry. Didn't hide on purpose? Have you found a suitable position to shoot? Meng Yuan, come with me to take him down. Liu Feng tilted his head to look at Meng Yuan. Someone was shooting in secret at this moment. To be on the safe side, he decided to join forces with Meng Yuan to avoid any mistakes. Meng Yuan also had enough hatred for Lin Fan. Although he could not kill Lin Fan, he knew that Lin Fan would not end up well after falling into the hands of Liu Feng and others. At least, they must not let Lin Fan escape again, otherwise they would really lose both the wife and the army. Okay, Master Liu, let's take him down together. Meng Yuan nodded. The two of them did not delay any longer, and rushed towards Lin Fan quickly, one on the left and one on the right. On the rooftop, Murenshan saw Liu Feng and Meng Yuan rushing towards Lin Fan together, and couldn't help asking, "Sister, are we going to use bullets to get rid of those two fools?" Yes, in her eyes, Liu Feng and Meng Yuan had become fools. No, they are only level 2 evolvers, they can't possibly hit Lin Fan, we just need to deal with the rest, don't let them get away, Murenzhu responded. Sister, don't worry, with me here, there will be no such thing as a fish slipping through the net, Murenshan said confidently. Murenzhu was of course very confident in Murenshan. With a sharpshooter's ability in such a distance, as long as the other party wanted to run, it would definitely be a dead end. Bang! 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 Yes, the three of them continued to shoot on the roof. Some people hiding behind the car were shot through the car and killed after they guessed their location. The power of the sniper rifle is not a big problem to shoot through ordinary cars. Boy! I wonder how long you can be arrogant. Meng Yuan rushed to Lin Fan from the left, raised his hand and waved, attacking Lin Fan at a tricky angle. Liu Feng also came to Lin Fan's right side, he clenched his right hand into a fist, and hit Lin Fan's head with a fierce right hook. Facing the attack from both sides, Lin Fan showed no fear at all. He moved his body and quickly moved forward, avoiding their attacks very easily. Chapter 314, Death? How is it possible? Lin Fan's evasive speed far exceeded Liu Feng and Meng Yuan's imagination. Both of them were shocked. They never thought that Lin Fan would be so fast. Bang! Bang! While the two of them were still immersed in shock, Lin Fan's eyes flashed and he approached. He first punched Meng Yuan in the chest, and then kicked Liu Feng in the chest with a roundhouse kick. With two dull sounds, Liu Feng and Meng Yuan flew backwards, flying more than 20 meters before falling back to the ground in midair. Cough cough. After landing, both of them covered their chests with their hands and coughed violently. Level 3 Evolver. Liu Feng stared at Lin Fan in amazement and shouted in horror. Through the contact just now, He could be 100% sure that Lin Fan was definitely not a level 2 evolver, but a genuine level 3 evolver. A level 2 evolver could never have such a fast speed, nor could he have such great power. Meng Yuan's face suddenly changed. He had never expected that Lin Fan had the strength of a level 3 evolver. If he had known that Lin Fan was a level 3 evolver, even if he had 100 more guts, he would not have dared to follow Liu Feng and others to chase Lin Fan. After all, even if he was a strong person among level 2 evolvers, he could not be compared with level 3 evolvers. Now both of them understood completely that Lin Fan was playing the fool and deliberately pretending to be weak, in fact, waiting for them to underestimate the enemy and take the bait. Yes, I do have the strength of a level 3 evolver, but this is all thanks to the level 3 energy crystals auctioned by your King Longgang. Lin Fan smiled faintly, looked at Liu Feng, and said, if I hadn't absorbed those 2 level 3 energy crystals, my strength would not have broken through to the level 3 evolver so quickly. Hearing this, Meng Yuan even had the urge to vomit blood. They were willing to chase Lin Fan with Liu Feng and others, not only to vent their anger on Lin Fan, but also to covet the 2 third-level energy crystals on Lin Fan. As a result, the 2 third-level energy crystals had been absorbed by Lin Fan. Regret. Meng Yuan was full of regret at this moment. They should not have been greedy. It would have been safer to stay in the King Longgang base. Now they were in danger. Liu Feng was not as magnanimous as Meng Yuan. After hearing what Lin Fan said, he continued to cough and couldn't help spitting out a mouthful of blood. Because he also wanted to get the 2 third-level energy crystals on Lin Fan before. Okay, I don't want to say any more nonsense to you. Do you have any last words? If you have any, say it quickly. If not, I will send you on your way, Lin Fan said lightly. Lin Fan. I am the leader of the King Longgang. Do you dare to kill me? Liu Feng questioned. You dare to kill me? Why don't I dare to kill you? Lin Fan felt funny. If you kill me, I can tell you that no matter where you run to, you will be hunted down, Liu Feng threatened. Really? Of course, that's a pity. Lin Fan shook his head helplessly and said, I like to challenge things that others think are difficult or impossible. The more you say that, the more I want to try how I will be hunted down, so, sorry, today, you are dead. As he said that, Lin Fan walked towards Liu Feng. Seeing Lin Fan coming, especially noticing the undisguised murderous intent in Lin Fan's eyes, Liu Feng was really panicked. He didn't want to die. It was not easy to get to this point today, and he hadn't enjoyed it much yet. He was full of resentment. But Lin Fan's kick just now had already seriously injured him. In addition, he was a second-level evolver and Lin Fan was a third-level evolver. The difference in strength between the two was huge, and even if he wanted to resist, he couldn't. Lin Fan was very fast and appeared in front of Liu Feng in the blink of an eye. Bye! Lin Fan raised the corner of his mouth, raised his foot, stepped hard, and stepped accurately on Liu Feng's chest. Crack! With his kick, the sound of bones breaking in Liu Feng's chest can be clearly heard. Liu Feng's breath was quickly cut off at this time, and he could no longer breathe. Lin Fan never has the slightest mercy towards his enemies. After getting rid of Liu Feng, he turned his eyes and looked at Meng Yuan on the other side, and walked over. Meng Yuan took a deep breath and said quickly, Lin Fan, don't kill me, let me live, I am willing to give you everything you want, everything you want. Lin Fan smiled and said, I want the whole world, can you give it to me? Meng Yuan's expression froze. Isn't this clearly playing with him? How powerful can you be to want the whole world? You can't even meet a request I made casually, and you still have the nerve to say that you will give me everything I want. Lin Fan laughed. Meng Yuan watched Lin Fan approaching step by step, his eyes turned, and he said, I can make the Meng family your subordinate power. In the future, the Meng family will listen to your arrangements, and whatever you say is what it is. He just wanted to survive now, and didn't want to die like Liu Feng. Only by saving his life first, he was qualified to talk about other things. What's more, their Meng family also has a third-level evolver. After dealing with it, it may be possible to take down Lin Fan. It's a pity that he guessed Lin Fan wrong. Lin Fan never thought much about these illusory things. I don't even take the Meng family seriously. Lin Fan smiled disdainfully and said, okay, it's almost time, I'll send you to accompany Liu Feng first, otherwise he will be lonely on the road alone, and you two will have company. No, Meng Yuan shouted loudly. Bang! Lin Fan ignored him at all, raised his foot, and stepped hard on Meng Yuan's chest at the same angle and with the same force, sending Meng Yuan away from this beautiful world. After getting rid of Meng Yuan, Lin Fan took a quick look and found that some people were still hiding behind the cars to block the bullets fired by Murenzhu, Murenshan and Li Zihun. Although they would be hit by bullets sooner or later if they continued like this, it would undoubtedly waste more bullets. Thinking of this, Lin Fan looked at the roof of the building and raised his hand to make a new gesture. Seeing Lin Fan's gesture, Murenzhu, Murenshan and Li Zihun all stopped shooting. Then, Lin Fan rushed to those people like a wolf into a flock of sheep and launched a one-sided suppression. Some people wanted to take the opportunity to escape, but in front of Lin Fan, their speed was too slow. They didn't run far at all and were quickly eliminated by Lin Fan. In less than 3 minutes, everyone was lying on the ground, and no one could stand up normally. Chapter 315 No News. Originally, these guys could have lived well, but unfortunately they insisted on chasing out to die. No wonder Lin Fan sent them to death. Liu Feng and others died, and they could not quickly return to the Qinglong gang to inform them. The Qinglong gang would not send people out to chase them again. If Liu Feng and others were not dead, and someone went back to inform them, they would definitely come to chase them again. Although Lin Fan was not worried about being caught up, it was still a troublesome matter. It would be better to solve it now. After glancing at the corpse lying on the ground, Lin Fan looked at the roof of the building, and then waved to Murenzhu and the other two. Not long after, Murenzhu and the other two came back with Andy. At the same time, Lin Fan came to the body of the young man from the Meng family and groped on the other side. As expected, the young man from the Meng family had not absorbed the third-level energy crystal. Holding the third-level energy crystal in his hand, Lin Fan smiled and said, "They came all the way here to give us something. We should thank them." Lin Fan's words made Murenzhu and the other two laugh out loud. "Let's go. Let's get in the car and leave here first," Lin Fan said with a smile. The four people and the dog returned to the RV. Lin Fan sat in the driver's seat, started the RV, and accelerated away. The RV left the amusement park and drove normally on the road. Murenshan reached out and touched Andy's head, then looked at Lin Fan and asked, "Brother Lin Fan, did you feel very good when you slapped the guy from the Meng family?" "Haha, it felt a bit like that," Lin Fan smiled. "That guy looks like he deserves a beating," Murenshan snorted. "But, if you think about it carefully, the Zhang family is also quite pitiful," Li Zihun said. "Zhang family?" Murenshan asked curiously. "Sister Zihun, why do you say the Zhang family is pitiful? Think about it. In order to bid for the third-level energy crystal, Meng Yuan borrowed 10 tubes of mutagenic factors from the Zhang family and promised to return them double within a month," Li Zihun explained. "Now that Meng Yuan and the others are dead, the Zhang family will definitely not get the 10 tubes of mutagenic factors they borrowed." "Haha, Sister Zihun, it's true now that you put it that way. Now I think the Zhang family is the most innocent victim," Murenshan laughed happily. "Yes, Meng Yuan and the others are dead. Even if this matter is reported back to the Meng family will definitely not admit it. The Zhang family can only blame themselves for their bad luck," Li Zihun said. The three girls discussed it for a while, and Lin Fan continued to drive. A few hours later, the sky gradually brightened. This night, many people were destined to stay awake. For example, Tian Xiaobing lay in bed and didn't sleep much. He kept thinking about when Liu Feng would bring Lin Fan and the other four back after he chased them out. He kept waiting until dawn, but still got no news. "Someone come." Tian Xiaobing walked out of the bedroom, came to the living room, and shouted outside. "Deputy gang leader?" A man soon walked in from outside. "Any news about Liu Feng and the others?" Tian Xiaobing asked. "Deputy gang leader, there is no news yet," the man shook his head. "No news yet?" Tian Xiaobing frowned slightly, and suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. For some reason, he felt that this matter might not be that simple. After all, Liu Feng and others had been out chasing for several hours, but no news came back at all. This was obviously not a normal situation. Because Liu Feng knew his temper very well. Even if they were still chasing and had not caught up, Liu Feng should have arranged for someone to come back and report the news to him. So far, no one has come back to report the news. Then, it seems that there is only one possibility. That is, Liu Feng and the others are in trouble. But if you think about it carefully, it shouldn't be. Liu Feng went with the people from the Meng family. Li Zihun and Lin Fan only had 4 people in total. According to the information provided by Liu Feng, among the 4 people in the team, only Li Zihan is a level 2 evolver, while Lin Fan and the other 2 are level 1 evolvers. Given the huge disparity in strength between the 2 teams, how could Liu Feng and the others get into trouble? Now, take 10 people out to investigate immediately. With so many cars driving, they will definitely leave traces on the ground. You take people to look for them along the traces on the road. Tian Xiaobing took a deep breath and quickly made a decision. He stared at the man and ordered, no matter what information you find, arrange for someone to come back and report. Do you understand? Understood, Deputy Gang Leader, I'll go right away, the man nodded. Well, go quickly, Tian Xiaobing waved his hand. The man did not delay anymore and turned to walk out of the villa. According to what Tian Xiaobing said, he gathered 10 people to leave the base and look for Liu Feng and the others along the traces on the road. Tian Xiaobing simply packed up, then left the villa and headed towards where Dongfang Ling lived. When they arrived at Dongfang Ling's villa, Dongfang Ling just walked out of the bedroom, glanced at Tian Xiaobing, and asked, "Is there any situation, boss?" "Not yet," Tian Xiaobing replied truthfully, "but I have arranged people to investigate. Once there's any news, they will report back immediately." Well done, Dongfang Ling nodded and said, "However, today's trade fair is still going to go on. You go and prepare first. It will start on time at 8 o'clock. The trade fair cannot be affected by other things." "Okay, I'll prepare it right away," Tian Xiaobing replied, turned around and left the villa. Dongfang Ling put his hands behind his back, looked out the window, and murmured, "I guess they can't come back." In the villa where the Fang family lived, Fang Zhou and others had already gotten up early and gathered in the living room. Second Uncle Fang walked in from outside. Fang Zhou took a look and asked quickly, "Second Uncle, how is it? Any news?" "No." Second Uncle Fang shook his head. He just went directly to the back door of the base and asked the people guarding the back door of the base if there was any news about Liu Feng and Meng Yuan, but the answer was obvious, no news was received. "It's been so many hours, why is there still no news?" Fang Zhou said with some worry. "No news is a good thing," Uncle Fang said. "Huh?" Fang Zhou was stunned, not understanding what Uncle Fang meant. No news means that Liu Feng and Meng Yuan didn't catch up. If they caught up, they would have taken Li Zihan and others back to the base. Uncle Fang smiled lightly and said, "If there is no news all day today, it can definitely mean that Li Zihan and others have successfully escaped, and it is impossible for Liu Feng and Meng Yuan to catch up again." Uncle Fang is always an old hand, and he immediately analyzed a key problem. Chapter 316 The harvest is really big. Hearing Uncle Fang say this, Fang Zhou was relieved immediately and said happily, "Yes, no news means they are safe. If there is news, it means they are in danger." Well, the trade fair is about to start. Let's put aside the things here for the time being and go to the trade fair first. Uncle Fang looked in the direction of the trade fair and said, "We still have 32 tubes of mutagenic factors in our hands. It's a good opportunity to see if there are any good things at today's trade fair. If there are, we can bid for them." "Yes, there are still 32 tubes?" Fang Zhou rubbed his hands and said, "If the Qinglong gang still has level 3 energy crystals to auction today, maybe no other family forces can outbid us. I don't know if they still have level 3 energy crystals." Uncle Fang smiled faintly, then waved his hand and said, "Let's go to the trade fair." The people of the Fang family did not waste any more time. Under the leadership of Uncle Fang, they went to the trade fair together. In the trade fair, Dongfang Ling, Tian Xiaobing and others were still on the auction table. Dongfang Ling sat in his exclusive seat behind the auction table, while Tian Xiaobing was counting the items to be auctioned today. As for the seats, it was obvious that the seats of Li Zihan and his 4 companions and the seats of the Meng family were empty. Did Li Zihan and his 4 companions run away? I'm not sure about that, but now that Hall Master Liu and Meng Yuan haven't come back, it seems that they haven't caught Li Zihan and his 4 companions yet. Don't worry if they can't catch them, that would be fun. How could they not catch them? Now in Zhonghai province, as long as they want to catch them, they will definitely be able to catch them, unless Li Zihan and his 4 companions never appear in Zhonghai province again. Yeah, that's true. The people in the seats also began to gossip and discuss. The middle-aged man who had lent the mutagenic factor to Meng Yuan yesterday looked at the empty seat of the Meng family. For some reason, his heart felt the same as the empty seat there, with a sense of emptiness. This feeling was as if something important was about to be lost. "Meng Yuan, you must come back," the middle-aged man of the Zhang family said in his heart. Whether or not we can get 20 tubes of mutagenic factors depends on whether Meng Yuan can come back. Behind the auction table, Tian Xiaobing walked up to Dong Fangling and said, "Boss, everything has been counted." "Well, since it's been counted, let's start today's trade fair." Dong Fangling nodded. "Okay," Tian Xiaobing responded, and then without wasting time, he turned and walked towards the front of the auction table. He swept his eyes over the crowd and said loudly, "Everyone, what happened last night was just a small episode and will not affect our trade fair today. As for those who disrupt our order, no matter where they escape to, we will take them down. I won't say anything else. Let's start today's trade fair." As he said that, he stretched out his hand and waved to a woman carrying a tray. The woman came forward with a tray and started today's auction. On the road, the RV drove quickly. The road from Bei'an City to Zhonghe City was cleared very well, and Lin Fan and his team did not encounter any obstructions. They returned without any obstacles. However, it is worth mentioning that it took them more than 10 hours to travel from Zhonghe City to Bei'an City. Mainly because Liu Feng's car was driving slowly, and the speed was simply not comparable to this RV. Now they drive themselves and can drive as fast as they want. The 10-hour journey has been shortened to 6 hours. The RV returned to the gate of the Li family. The people of the Li family now knew this RV. When they saw the RV coming from afar, they had already opened the gate. But when they arrived at the gate, Li Zihong still asked Lin Fan to stop the car. She said hello to the gatekeeper and then continued to drive in. After parking the car in the parking space, Lin Fan glanced at the three girls and said, "Let's go, get off." The four of them got out of the car with Andy and went directly to the study where Li Xianyun was. Li Xianyun and Li Changjin were both in the study at the moment, and they were discussing how to take control of Zhonghe City as quickly as possible. "Grandpa, Dad, we are back." Li Zihan walked into the study first and greeted Li Xianyun and Li Changjin. Hearing the voice, Li Xianyun and Li Changjin looked over and saw that they were back, and their faces were immediately full of smiles. Master Li, Uncle Li, Lin Fan and the other two also greeted them. "Haha, it's good to be back." Li Xianyun laughed heartily, and then asked Lin Fan and the others to sit down. "Xianyun, did you gain anything from participating in the trade fair this time?" Li Changjin asked with a smile. "A lot of gains." Li Zihan opened her backpack and took out the sword she bought from Fang Zhou, saying, "This is what I gained." Li Changjin took the sword and looked at it, and was surprised. "This sword seems to be very sharp. Come, let me see," Li Xianyun said. "Yet," Li Changjin responded and handed the sword to Li Xianyun. Li Xianyun took it and looked at it carefully. After a moment, he said, "This sword is made of a special material. It is not only very sharp, but also very strong." "Xiao Han, how many mutagenic factors did you get for this sword?" Li Changjin asked curiously. 8 tubes of mutagenic factors." Li Zihan stretched out his hand and made an A gesture. 8 tubes? Li Xianyun muttered, "Not bad. After all, such a close-range weapon can be used for a long time." "Grandpa, Dad, my gains are nothing. Lin Fan's gains are really big." Li Zihan smiled slightly and shifted the topic to Lin Fan. "Oh," hearing Li Zihan say this, Li Xianyun and Li Changjin both shifted their eyes to Lin Fan. They were very curious about what Lin Fan gained from participating in the trade fair this time, which made Li Zihan describe it like this. Li Zihan glanced at Lin Fan, and before Lin Fan could speak, she said, "Lin Fan's strength has reached the level of a third-level evolver." "What?" At this point, Li Xianyun and Li Changjin were both stunned. Their eyes widened as if they had seen a ghost. "He has already been promoted to a third-level evolver? The speed of improvement is a bit too fast, isn't it?" Li Xianyun simply couldn't imagine that Lin Fan's strength would improve so quickly. Li Changjin was even more surprised and helpless. He had been stuck at the second-level evolver for a long time, and had not been promoted to the third-level evolver. He didn't expect Lin Fan to be faster than him. Chapter 317, The Li Family's Harvest. "Lin Fan, you are awesome." Li Changjin took a deep breath, gave Lin Fan a thumbs up, and gave him a sincere gesture of praise. "Uncle Li, I was able to advance to the third level of the evolver mainly because of the third-level energy crystal." Lin Fan smiled and explained, "I got 2 third-level energy crystals when I attended the trade fair this time. After absorbing the energy in them, I broke through to become a third-level evolver. Besides, before that, I also absorbed the third-level energy crystal that the head of the Li family got from the banker and gave it to me. It is equivalent to absorbing 3 third-level energy crystals in total, and it is not a breakthrough made by myself. Lin Fan's words were not deliberately modest. If he had not absorbed 3 third-level energy crystals, his strength would not have been able to be promoted to the third level of the evolver in such a short time. Therefore, the 3 third-level energy crystals contributed a lot to his breakthrough. You can make a breakthrough with 3 third-level energy crystals, which also shows that you are very talented. If others absorb 3 third-level energy crystals, they may not be able to break through, Li Shangjin said. Yes, little friend Lin, this is still due to your strong talent, Li Xianyu nodded and said. However, I didn't expect that the King Longgang would actually take out 3 level 3 energy crystals for auction. At first, in his guess, it would be a big deal if the King Longgang took out 2 level 3 energy crystals for auction, but he didn't expect that they took out 3. They occupy so many places and have a lot of resources. Lin Fan smiled lightly. Indeed, Li Xianyu nodded again. Then, he thought of something and asked hurriedly, by the way, didn't they make things difficult for you when you went there this time, Grandpa? Of course they made things difficult for us, Li Zihan took over and said. Not only did they make things difficult for us, they also sent people to chase us. What? Sent people to chase us? Li Xianyu and Li Changjin were shocked and angry. This is what happened. Li Zihan let out more breath and told him about the pursuit of Liu Feng and others. It seems that they were determined to keep you in that base, but they didn't realize that you would decide to leave at night, and they didn't realize that you would be so brave to force your way out of their base, Li Shangjin pondered. Well, they really didn't expect us to have such a plan, otherwise they would definitely not give us the slightest chance to leave, Li Zihan said, looking at Lin Fan with beautiful eyes, and said, this is all thanks to Lin Fan. If Lin Fan hadn't proposed to leave last night, we would have been forced to stay after the trade fair today. In that case, we would not be able to leave even if we wanted to. Yes, there should be several level 3 evolvers on their side. If you didn't leave last night, you would definitely not be able to leave today, Li Xianyu nodded. By the way, Master Li, this level 3 energy crystal is for you. Lin Fan took out a level 3 energy crystal from his pocket and handed it to Li Xianyu. This level 3 energy crystal was what he found on the young man from the Meng family. Why is that? Li Xianyu was stunned. Li Zihan also looked at Lin Fan in a daze, not understanding what Lin Fan meant. Lin Fan smiled and said, Master Li, you allocated a 3rd level energy crystal to me when we got rid of the banker before. We made a lot of gains at the trade fair this time, so it should naturally be allocated to you. How can this be possible? Li Xianyu hurriedly shook his head and said righteously, I allocated things to you when I got rid of the banker because you really helped our Li family a lot. Without your help, we would never have been able to get rid of the banker. This is the reward you deserve, but we didn't contribute anything to the gains you made at the trade fair this time. Li Xianyu was not refusing pretentiously, but he felt that no matter how he looked at this 3rd level energy crystal, he had no reason to accept it. How come I didn't contribute? Lin Fan glanced at Li Zihan and said, when we were dealing with Liu Feng and the Meng family last night, Xiaohan was the one who took action. Xiaohan can naturally represent the Li family, so the spoils should also be distributed. Lin Fan, how could that be considered a contribution? Li Zihan said embarrassedly, you are already a level 3 evolver. Even if we didn't shoot in secret, we would have no problem dealing with them. I have no problem dealing with them, but in such a wide space, they can run in different directions. I can't catch up with them all by myself, right? Lin Fan smiled faintly. So, you did help. This level 3 energy crystal should belong to your family. Seeing that Li Zihan wanted to say something, Murengzu said, Xiaohan, Patriarch Li, Uncle Li, just accept it. If you don't, Lin Fan will think you are too distant. That's right, Murengshan followed. This, Li Xianyu was startled again. He could see that Lin Fan, Murengzu and Murengshan all wanted to give this 3rd level energy crystal to their family seriously, instead of testing anything here. Okay, then I will accept it on behalf of our family. Li Xianyu thought about it and finally decided to accept it, otherwise Lin Fan and the other two might think he was too hypocritical. Lin Fan smiled with satisfaction, then changed the topic to something else and said, Master Li, Uncle Li, although the King Longgang did investigate the strength of all parties in the trade fair this time, they actually have a real purpose. What is the real purpose? Li Xianyu's eyes fixed. Li Changjin also looked at Lin Fan curiously. That is to collect a large number of mutagenic factors, Lin Fan emphasized. Only yesterday, they should have harvested 200 or 300 tubes of mutagenic factors. Today's harvest may not be more than yesterday, but I think it's not much less. So many mutagenic factors collected in one day. Li Xianyun was a little surprised. Well, they use the trade fair to collect so many mutagenic factors. Their purpose is probably to use the collected mutagenic factors to produce a large number of evolvers after the trade fair, Lin Fan pondered. Then, they will implement the next plan, continue to expand their territory, and take control of the entire Zhonghe. Yes, Dad, they use the trade fair to collect so many mutagenic factors, they will definitely not leave them unused. Li Changjin concentrated and said, if they use all of them to produce evolvers, they will be able to produce hundreds of evolvers in a short period of time. By then, they will have enough human resources to expand throughout Zhonghe. I estimate it will take no more than 3 months, Lin Fan said. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 318, Strategy. Brother Lin Fan, why does it take another 3 months? Murin Shan asked in confusion. After they created the evolvers, shouldn't they take action immediately? And using mutagenic factors to create evolvers, that can be done quickly, right? The question Murin Shan asked was also what Murin Zhu and Li Zihong wanted to ask. Lin Fan glanced at Murin Shan and explained with a smile, using mutagenic factors to create evolvers can indeed be done quickly, but newly created evolvers still need to be tempered. If they are not tempered, it is equivalent to their physical fitness being improved, but they don't have much advantage in combat experience. A group of first-level evolvers without rich combat experience, that is not of much use. It is nothing more than a waste of mutagenic factors. With this explanation, Murin Zhu, Murin Shan and Li Zihan all understood. Indeed, from becoming evolvers to the present, they have been constantly tempering and improving, and they have never missed a day in terms of practical experience. Little friend Lin is right, Li Xianyun said earnestly. The Qinglong gang suddenly has such a large number of evolvers, and they will definitely take thorough action within no more than 3 months. But in 3 months, our Li family is not enough to grow to the point where we can deal with them. Do we really have to consider moving to another place? As the head of the Li family, Li Xianyun is naturally very clear about the situation of the Li family. Even if the Zhuang family is eliminated now, there is no one in Zhonghe City who can compete with the Li family, and the Li family can further control Zhonghe City. But even so, 3 months is really too short. No matter how fast the Li family develops, it is impossible to grow to the point where it can deal with the Qinglong gang. If it can't deal with it, then it can only think of other ways out. In his opinion, that way out is probably to move out of Zhonghe City and seek survival somewhere else. Master Li, I don't think so, Lin Fan shook his head. Li Xianyun was startled and said, little friend Lin, do you have any suggestions, Master Li? This time we not only participated in the trade fair, but also learned some other situations, Lin Fan said, looking at Li Zihan, and said, these situations are about other family forces. Let Zihan tell you. Li Zihan naturally knew what Lin Fan wanted her to say. She did not hesitate and immediately said, Grandpa, Dad, before the trade fair started, I went to talk to other family forces, and then asked them about it indirectly. I roughly learned which ones were willing to resist, which ones were willing to surrender, and which ones remained neutral. You learned so much? Li Xianyun and Li Changjin were shocked again. They didn't expect Li Zihan to do all this. I was still discussing with your grandfather before, to see if I should go and find out what they said at that time, Li Changjin said. This is Lin Fan who reminded me to find out, Li Zihan said truthfully. Little friend Lin is really comprehensive in doing things, Li Xianyun praised. Master Li, you are too kind. Lin Fan smiled and shook his head. Zihan, tell me all the details you know. Well, okay. Li Zihan nodded and began to talk about the details of the major family forces. After hearing what Li Zihan said, Li Xianyun said, okay, I didn't expect that there are still many family forces willing to resist. I thought they would surrender under the pressure of the other party's strength, especially the Fang family. This is a real big family. The Fang family is willing to resist. For us, it is really great news, Li Changjin said. Master Li, Uncle Li, I think you can go talk to the Fang family first, tell them that you will definitely resist them, and then let them form an alliance with you, Lin Fan said in a deep voice. When your two families form an alliance, it will be much easier to call on other family forces that want to resist. At that time, with so many people joining forces, it is not certain that the other party will dare to fight you. As long as you shock the other party, it means that you have more time to ease the tension. What the other party wants most now is to take you down as quickly as possible and in the shortest time. On the contrary, the more time you have, the greater the threat to the other party. If you keep doing this, it won't be long before you can get rid of the other party. After listening to what Lin Fan said, Li Xianyun and Li Changjin both felt that they had benefited a lot. They admired Lin Fan more and more. At such an age, he had such a deep understanding of these things. If they could not see that Lin Fan was very young, they would doubt whether Lin Fan was an old man who had lived for decades. Little friend Lin, your wisdom is the best among all the people I have known from the past to the present, Li Xianyun said. After he finished speaking, he looked at Li Changjin and said, you go and arrange the family affairs tomorrow. After you have arranged it, the two of us will go to the Fang family together and have a good talk with the old man Fang Yongtan. After we have negotiated with the Fang family, the alliance can be officially established, and then we can contact other family forces that want to resist. Fang Yongtan is Fang Zhou's grandfather and the current head of the Fang family. Fang Yongtan has the final say on all matters of the Fang family. Therefore, if they get Fang Yongtan's reply, it means that they have obtained the consent of the Fang family. Okay, Dad, I will arrange it tomorrow morning, Li Changjin nodded. The Fang family is in another city. They go back and forth, plus the time they have to spend on discussing things. It will take at least 2 or 3 days to come back. At this stage, the Fang family is gradually expanding, and the work is relatively busy, so they must arrange it every day. And the person who arranges these things is naturally Li Changjin. After continuing to negotiate here for a while, Lin Fan and the other two took their leave. They didn't rest much last night, nor did they rest much during the day today. At this point, they were a little tired physically and mentally. The three people and the dog returned to the courtyard. Lin Fan smiled faintly and said, in the next 2 or 3 days, we can have a good rest here. After the head of the Li family and Uncle Li come back, the 4 of us will continue to go out for training. Li Xianyun and Li Changjin have left the family, so Li Zihan naturally has to stay in the family to watch over them. The 3 of them can't leave Li Zihan behind to train, so they have to wait until Li Xianyun and Li Changjin return from the Fang family. Murinzhu and Murinshan obviously have no different opinions on this. The 2 sisters nodded and then went back to their rooms to sleep and rest. Chapter 319 Shocking News. Base. In a villa. Tian Xiaobing sat on the sofa, looking at the person he sent out to get information in the morning, and asked, why do you look so bad? Today's trade fair has completely ended. They have harvested a total of 210 tubes of mutagenic factors, which is about the same as they expected, which is a very good harvest. After the trade fair, he had a brief conversation with Dongfang Ling and returned to the villa. The person who was getting information also came back. However, he could clearly see that the other party's face was very bad. Deputy gang leader. The man swallowed his saliva, looking like he wanted to say something but stopped. What do you mean? Tian Xiaobing glared at him coldly and said, just say it, don't hesitate. Did you get any news? Yes, the man nodded, took a deep breath, and said, we followed your instructions and followed the traces on the road to find it. We found an amusement park and saw Liu Tangzhu and his people, all dead. What did you say? This news startled Tian Xiaobing. He stood up from the sofa in an instant, rushed to the man, and grabbed his collar. Liu Feng and his people are all dead. Yes, the man nodded again and said in shock, Deputy gang leader, this is what we saw with our own eyes. Not only me, but also the 10 brothers who went with me. It was indeed the bodies of Liu Tangzhu and his people, and the bodies of several people from the Meng family were all in that amusement park. Tian Xiaobing's eyes were filled with rage, and at the same time he was extremely shocked and confused. Liu Feng took more than 100 people out, plus a few people from the Meng family. There were more than 10 second-level evolvers and dozens of first-level evolvers. Such a lineup was completely wiped out, and no one was able to leave alive. It was simply too incredible. Could they have a support outside? Tian Xiaobing frowned and pondered. Deputy gang leader, everything I said is true. If you don't believe me, I can take you to the amusement park to check. The bodies of Liu Tangzhu and others are still there. Seeing Yan Xiaobing's frown, the man didn't loosen his collar, and his body trembled uncontrollably. He was afraid that Liu Feng still didn't believe what he said. After a pause, he quickly added, "Those who were not shot in the head by bullets have turned into zombies. Those who were shot in the head, their bodies did not move, but those who turned into zombies are still at the amusement park. We have checked them all, bullets." Tian Xiaobing analyzed. They drove away, and they must have been chasing along the way. Finally, they drove to the amusement park. They were shot. If nothing unexpected happened, they should have been ambushed in the amusement park, definitely had help. Tian Xiaobing quickly came to a conclusion. He firmly believed that if Lin Fan and his 4 companions had no help, it would be impossible for Liu Feng and his companions to be wiped out. Moreover, there must be quite a few helpers in ambush, otherwise not a single person would have escaped. Thinking of this, Tian Xiaobing took a deep breath and murmured, "There are helpers ambushed outside, which means that all this has been planned. If Liu Feng and his companions did not chase them out, there would be no problem. Once they chased them out, they would definitely be ambushed by them. They have all calculated it and determined that our people would chase them out. This is their headquarters base. If they did not even react or express anything when a forced intrusion happened here, how could they gain a foothold in Songhai province after the news spread out?" Therefore, he felt that Lin Fan and his companions had calculated it from the very beginning. "Deputy gang leader, what should we do now?" the man asked tremblingly. Facing Yan Xiaobing at this time, he was full of fear from the bottom of his heart, fearing that Yan Xiaobing would take it out on him if he was unhappy. "Don't leak this matter for the time being. Don't tell anyone who asks you," Tian Xiaobing pondered and said. "Also, remember to tell the people who went with you to investigate the situation to keep their mouths shut. Everything will be decided after I report to the gang leader." "Okay," the man nodded in response. "Go out." Tian Xiaobing loosened the other person's collar. The other person bowed and saluted, not daring to stay, and hurriedly walked out of the villa with a sense of relief. The moment he walked out, he realized that his entire back was soaked with sweat. There was no way Tian Xiaobing put too much pressure on him. Fortunately, this scene of facing alone ended, otherwise he really didn't know if he could continue to stand firm. Tian Xiaobing didn't waste time, and immediately walked out of his villa and went straight to Dongfangling's villa. Dongfangling was in the villa at this time, standing in front of a large table. On this table, mutagenic factors were densely placed. As for the number, it is roughly estimated that there are at least 700 tubes. Some of them are owned by them, and the other part is obtained in this transaction. Looking at these mutagenic factors, Dongfangling seemed to be looking at the entire Songhai. Because, with these mutagenic factors, he can implement comprehensive expansion of Songhai, and then naturally be able to take the entire Songhai into his pocket. "Boss," Tian Xiaobing walked in from the door and greeted respectfully. "Well, come on," Dongfangling nodded, without looking back at Tian Xiaobing. Tian Xiaobing responded and looked at the mutagenic factors on the table. Before he spoke, he heard Dongfangling say, "There are a total of 756 tubes of mutagenic factors here, which means we can add 756 first-level evolvers in a short period of time. Add to that our original first-level evolvers, and the number of our first-level evolvers will successfully exceed 1,000. 1,000 first-level evolvers. I will give you 2 months to conduct special training for them, so that they will have rich combat experience in 2 months. Is there any problem?" "No problem," Tian Xiaobing answered without hesitation. "That's good," Dongfangling nodded with satisfaction. "Now it is equivalent to everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. Once these first-level evolvers have rich combat experience, they will be able to accelerate the expansion of their territory. When they control the entire Songhai, the resources will be quite abundant. At that time, his strength will also increase faster." "Boss, I came to you because I have something to tell you," Tian Xiaobing said. "What is it?" Dongfangling looked at Tian Xiaobing and asked, "Is there any news about Liu Feng and the others?" "Yes," Tian Xiaobing nodded, hesitated for a moment, but still said directly, "Liu Feng and Meng Yuan are all dead." Chapter 320 Go now. Dead. Dongfangling's face was also filled with shock when he heard Tian Xiaobing's news. He had not expected that Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others would be in danger of their lives. "What happened?" Dongfangling asked with a frown. Tian Xiaobing told him everything he knew. They were all killed in an amusement park, and there were traces of bullets, Dongfangling's eyes condensed and said, with the strength of Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others, only level 3 evolvers can keep them all alive. Impossible, boss. There is absolutely no level 3 evolver among the 4 of Li Zihan, Tian Xiaobing denied. Of course, I know that none of the 4 of them can reach the level of level 3 evolvers. I know all the level 3 evolvers in the entire Zhonghe, Dongfangling said indifferently, except for this possibility. There is only one possibility left. They were ambushed. Yes, boss, I think so too. Tian Xiaobing quickly repeated his analysis. Yes, they knew that if they were causing trouble in our territory, we would definitely arrange for people to chase them, so we had already set up an ambush there, waiting for our people to chase them and take the bait. Dongfangling's eyes flashed with a strong murderous intent, and he said, Li Xianyun is really brave. He dared to openly oppose us and killed so many of us. Thinking of this, Dongfangling asked again, how many second-level evolvers and first-level evolvers are there among the people Liu Feng brought? I haven't counted them specifically, but there seem to be 10 second-level evolvers, and there should be about 20 or 30 first-level evolvers, Tian Xiaobing replied. Dongfangling's eyes were filled with murderous intent, and he said, this is also a big loss for us. This loss must be repaid tenfold by the Li family, boss. When will we take action against the Li family? Tian Xiaobing asked. Dongfangling did not answer Tian Xiaobing's question immediately, but thought about it. After about a minute, he said, there is no rush now. Our most important thing right now is to consider the overall situation. The training of first-level evolvers must begin immediately, then, through this trade fair, I think you should have understood who are willing to belong to us, who remain neutral, and who stand on the opposite side. I understand this, Tian Xiaobing nodded. Then, while training the first-level evolvers, we should also take action on this matter. We can arrange people to contact those who are willing to join us, and we will ignore those who are neutral and opposing for the time being, Dongfangling ordered. After the training of the first-level evolvers is completed, we will directly deal with those who are opposed to us. At that time, those who remain neutral will naturally join our side. Okay, gang leader, Tian Xiaobing nodded again, but soon he changed his tone and said, then the Li family will not care about anything now? Although we can suppress this news for now, the truth will come out sooner or later. By then, those who remain neutral will see that we have suffered such a great humiliation but have no reaction. Wouldn't it be easy to push them to the opposite side? Hearing this, Dongfangling fell silent and said, your analysis makes sense. Even if we don't really oppress the Li family now, we must never do that so easily. Otherwise, if the news spreads, it will have a great impact on our reputation. Then what do you plan to do, gang leader? Tian Xiaobing asked curiously. Liao Fihong is in Dongguan City, which is only 3 or 4 hours away from Zhonghe City. I asked him to go there and ask the Li family for an explanation to see how the Li family responds, Dongfangling said. The Qinglong gang has more than one deputy leader. Tian Xiaobing is one, and Liao Fihong is another. However, Tian Xiaobing mainly stays in Bei'an City, while Liao Fihong mainly stays in Dongguan City, responsible for relevant matters in Dongguan City. Liao Fihong's strength is not much inferior to Tian Xiaobing, and he is also the deputy leader. Letting Liao Fihong represent the Qinglong gang to the Li family will not only not lose their reputation, but also will not make the Li family feel that they are not strong enough. Okay, leader, then I will send someone to notify him immediately and ask him to go to the Li family as soon as possible. I guess Li Zihan and the others have also returned to the Li family, Tian Xiaobing said. Well, then you go and arrange it, Dongfangling nodded. Tian Xiaobing did not hesitate, turned around and walked out of the villa, and immediately sent someone to notify Liao Fihong. The next day, in the center of Dongguan City, a place that was originally a university town had been transformed by Liao Fihong and turned into their base in Dongguan City. At this moment, Liao Fihong was sitting in the office of this base, looking at the person who came to report the news and asked, what does the gang leader ask you to come to me for? Liao Fihong was already familiar with this person. Generally speaking, if there was anything important in Dongfangling, he would ask this person to inform him. This person immediately told Liao Fihong the cause and effect of the matter. After listening to it, Liao Fihong was also shocked, as if he didn't expect that the Li family would dare to kill their people. After the surprise, anger followed. Bang! He slapped the table in front of him, making a bang sound. The Li family is so arrogant. They don't take us seriously at all. They dare to kill our people. Do they really think we don't dare to take action against them? Liao Fihong stood up from his seat, waved his hand, and said, "You go back and tell the gang leader to rest assured. I will take care of this matter. I will make the Li family pay the price they deserve." Deputy gang leader, why are you hesitating? Just say it. When I came, the gang leader asked me to tell you specifically to try not to have a head-on conflict with the Li family, because we have no plans to go to war with them directly for the time being. The man said, "The gang leader means that you should go to the Li family to ask for an explanation. If possible, then find out about the strength of the Li family. This is the purpose of the gang leader asking you to go." Hearing this, Liao Fihong was stunned for a moment, then nodded and said, "Okay, I get it. I won't have a head-on conflict with the Li family, then I'll go back first," the man said. "No hurry." Liao Fihong stopped his thoughts and said, "It's very close from our Dongguan city to Zhonghe city, only a few hours away. Don't go back for now, come with me to the Li family. After we get back from the Li family to ask for an explanation, it won't be too late for you to go back to Bei'an city. This way, you can bring the results back to the gang leader, so that I don't have to arrange people to go there." "Are we going to the Li family now?" the man asked. "Yes, let's go now," Liao Fihong nodded. Chapter 321, Come to Inquire. Liao Fihong was an impatient person, and he would do anything as soon as he said it. He immediately gathered the people here, asked them to get on the car, and then he drove in front with the person who informed him, and the convoys behind immediately followed. The people he brought were not many, about 50, but among these 50, 5 were level 2 evolvers, and 10 were level 1 evolvers, which was a pretty good lineup. As for himself, he was a genuine level 3 evolver, otherwise he would not have been able to get the position of deputy leader in the Qinglong gang. Li's house. In the hall, Li Xianun, Lin Fan, Murenzhu, Murenshan and Li Zihan, all 5 of them gathered here. Not long after, Li Shangzhen walked in from outside. "Dad, I have arranged all the work for the next 3 days, Li Shangzhen said with a smile. He went out early in the morning to arrange the work, and he was not done until now. After all, after getting rid of the Zhuang family, they left people to stay in the Zhuang family courtyard. Then, they treated that place as a branch of the Li family, and expanded around it with that place as the center. All matters related to the expansion required comprehensive plans. Li Changzhen was the person in charge of these comprehensive plans. Well, just arrange it." Li Xianun nodded, then looked at Li Zihan and said, "Zihan, then we will leave the Li family to you, Grandpa. You can go to the Fang family to discuss the alliance without worry." Li Zihan smiled. "Haha, I am definitely relieved with your words." Li Xianun smiled heartily, and then turned his eyes to Lin Fan, saying, "Little friend Lin, I will trouble you to help take care of the Li family in the next 2 or 3 days. Lin Fan has now become a 3rd level evolver, and his strength is absolutely guaranteed." "Don't worry, Master Li." Lin Fan smiled and nodded. Now their relationship with the Li family is no longer as simple as ordinary friends, but they have to consider the development of becoming allies in the future. Therefore, if there is anything wrong with the Li family, Lin Fan will help if he can. "Okay." Li Xianun also nodded and said, "Then let's go." After that, he and Li Changzhen did not waste any more time, walked out of the hall, drove out of the Li family, and rushed to the city where the Fang family was. "Brother Lin Fan, my sister and I are going to practice actual combat and accumulate more actual combat experience," Murenshan said. She felt that her actual combat experience was still not very rich, and she needed more practice. It happened that they had nothing else to do in the past 2 or 3 days, so they had to make use of their time. "Well, okay, it's definitely right to accumulate more actual combat experience," Lin Fan smiled. "Then we'll go first," Murenzhu said. "Where are you practicing?" Li Zihan asked. "Just in the yard," Murenzhu replied. The yard was not small, and it was completely enough for the 2 sisters to practice actual combat. "Let's go, I'll go back too," Lin Fan said. Murenzhu and Murenshan were practicing, so he naturally had to find something to do for himself. As for what to do, it was very simple: superpowers. After all, he had just acquired a supernatural power. A few hours of practice that night was nothing. He had to practice diligently. Only when he could do it effortlessly and control it however he wanted, would he be considered good enough. Li Zihan still had some things to do at the Li family, so he didn't feel bored. The four of them walked out of the hall together. When Lin Fan and the other two were about to return to the courtyard, a member of the Li family quickly ran over. "Miss, I have something urgent to report." "What's the urgent matter?" Li Zihan was slightly startled. From the other person's appearance, he was indeed very anxious. The man hurriedly said, "The people from the Qinglong gang are coming." "What?" Li Zihan was startled again. Lin Fan also frowned, looked at the man, and asked, "Where are they?" "It was discovered by the people we arranged to observe outside. They are rushing towards us, probably a few kilometers away," the man said. "Why is the speed of the Qinglong gang so fast?" Li Zihan frowned. Muranzhu and Muranshan looked at each other. From their eyes, it can be seen that they were also very surprised. Because, according to Lin Fan's previous speculation, even if the Qinglong gang wanted to take action, they should wait until the first-level evolvers created by the mutagenic factor have rich combat experience before taking action. And now, only one day has passed, and the Qinglong gang has come, which really caught them off guard. After a flash of doubt in Lin Fan's mind, he calmed down and asked, "Do you know how many people are coming?" Lin Fan always believed that the other party's people could not come so quickly, so he had to ask the other side how many people came. If there are many people coming, it means that the Qinglong gang is really going to take action against the Li family, but if there are not many people coming, it is possible that they are not going to take action against the Li family. Hearing Lin Fan's question, the man did not hesitate at all and said quickly, "They are in the car. We can't see how many people there are, but there are only 5 cars in total, 3 sedans, and 2 small trucks carrying people. I estimate that there should be about 50 people." Liao Fihuang and others were in the car. When they looked, they could only see the shape and number of the car, and they really couldn't see how many people were in the car. The number of about 50 people was the maximum number of people he estimated based on the vehicle model. 50 people, this number made Lin Fan stunned. Only 50 people. Muranzhu, Muranshan and Li Zihan were also stunned. They also didn't expect that the Qinglong gang would only send so few people. Logically, it shouldn't be so few. With so few people coming, are they looking down on the Li family? What do they mean? Only 50 people, Muranshan couldn't help asking. Lin Fan pondered for a while and soon laughed. "Brother Lin Fan, what are you laughing at?" Muranshan looked puzzled. Muranzhu and Li Zihan also turned their eyes to Lin Fan, and they also didn't understand what Lin Fan was laughing at. "Don't worry, they are not here to really start a war." Lin Fan shook his head. "Brother Lin Fan, how are you sure?" Muranshan asked again. "They must have arranged people to investigate the specific situation and know that Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others are dead. They will undoubtedly blame us for their deaths, but their top priority now is not to start a war, but to use mutagenic factors to create a first-level evolver, and to train the first-level evolver's combat experience as quickly as possible." Lin Fan's eyes condensed, and said, "As for the people who come here now, if I'm not mistaken, they should be here to ask for an explanation, and by the way, to re-explore the strength of the Li family." Chapter 322. Please come back. Lin Fan believed that his inference was correct. Even if the Qinglong gang wanted to take action against the Li family, it would not be so fast. After all, the fact that they have been able to develop to this point today is enough to show that they are far-sighted. People with foresight will prioritize things when doing things. And their top priority is definitely to use the collected mutagenic factors to create a large number of first-level evolvers, and then train these first-level evolvers to have rich combat experience. In this way, they can thoroughly launch the expansion work of the entire Songhai. Brother Lin Fan, why did they send people here? Shouldn't they just ignore everything now and wait until the outbreak later? Muranshan asked again. Although they can suppress the news of Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others' death for the time being, it will be leaked out soon. Everyone knows that Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others came out to chase us last night, so it goes without saying that their deaths are related to us. Personally, I think that the Qinglong gang should be speculating that we had external aid as an ambush to kill Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others. After all, they don't think that the 4 of us have such ability, and if this news spreads and they don't take any action, how will everyone view them? Lin Fan's eyes flashed, and he pondered, this will inevitably affect their next expansion work. If some people who have remained neutral or wanted to belong to them change their minds because of this incident, it will be a very heavy loss for them. So, they can't pretend that nothing happened. At least they have to arrange someone to ask for an explanation and finally find out the strength of the Li family. Lin Fan's analysis can be said to be quite comprehensive. After listening, Muranzu, Muranshan and Li Zihan all felt that it made sense. So, the people who came this time should not be too strong, Muranzu asked. Yes, Lin Fan nodded and smiled faintly. Anyway, they're here, let's go out and see what they are going to do. Okay, the three girls nodded. Then, the four of them walked towards the gate of the Li family together. In a Mercedes-Benz G sedan, Liao Fihong sat in the co-pilot seat, looking ahead with a sneer on his face. Deputy gang leader, the Li family is ahead, the driver said. Yes, just drive the car to the gate and stop, Liao Fihong said. Yes, the driver nodded. Liao Fihong looked back at the informant sitting behind him and said, you will still follow us later. What happened here and what the Li family said, you will see and hear it with your eyes and ears. After you go back, tell the gang leader everything intact, so that the gang leader knows the specific situation here. Okay, the informant also nodded. Liao Fihong said nothing more and continued to look forward. Soon, their car drove to the gate of the Li family. Before the gatekeeper of the Li family stopped them, they stopped the car on their own initiative. Get out of the car, Liao Fihong waved his hand and opened the car door first to get out. The rest of the people, seeing Liao Fihong get out of the car, naturally followed suit. You, the gatekeeper looked at Liao Fihong and was about to ask. However, before he could finish his sentence, Liao Fihong interrupted him directly and said, I am Liao Fihong, the deputy leader of the Qinglong gang. Go and tell Li Xianun that you have something to do with him and ask him to come out to see me. The gatekeeper's eyes showed a hint of surprise. He didn't expect that the deputy leader of the Qinglong gang would come to the door in person. Last time it was the hall master who came, this time it was the deputy leader who came directly. The identity of the person who came is really getting higher and higher. Our family master went out today and is not on the family, the gatekeeper shook his head and said. He saw clearly when Li Xianun and Li Changjin left the Li family. Out, Liao Fihong had a cold smile on his face. He naturally didn't believe that Li Xianun had gone out. He just took it as an excuse from the gatekeeper. Did he know that we were coming to see him, so he wanted to hide from us on purpose? Liao Fihong asked coldly. I don't know what you are talking about, but our patriarch is indeed not on the family, the gatekeeper said. Bullshit, Liao Fihong shouted loudly, his voice like thunder. No matter what excuses and reasons you have, I must see Li Xianun today, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. His coming this time was equivalent to asking for punishment, so his attitude would naturally not be very good. Moreover, he had the strength of a third-level evolver. This loud shout was full of oppression, causing the gatekeeper's body to tremble uncontrollably. Who is making a loud noise here? At this moment, a voice came from the gate of the Li family. Everyone looked over and saw Li Zihan, Lin Fan and the other two stepping out. Miss, when the gatekeeper saw Li Zihan, they all greeted Li Zihan respectfully. Li Zihan nodded slightly, her beautiful eyes fell on Liao Fihong, and she looked him up and down. But she didn't have Lin Fan's ring to read the data, so she just looked at him. Lin Fan, on the other hand, used the ring to check Liao Fihong's data information. Species, human level, level 3 speed. 13 strength. 13 reaction. 13 superpower, numbness data information is exactly the same as Li Xianun's. After understanding Liao Fihong's strength, Lin Fan was relieved. Although Liao Fihong's strength, speed, and reaction are a little higher than his, he still has superpowers now, and his defense data has reached 10. It can be said without hesitation that even if he and Liao Fihong are head-on, and one of them hits the other with one punch, the loser must be Liao Fihong. Liao Fihong also looked at Li Zihan. When he heard the gatekeeper call Li Zihan Miss, he understood Li Zihan's identity. You are Li Zihan, right? Liao Fihong asked. Yes, Li Zihan frowned and said, who are you? Liao Fihong, deputy leader of the Qinglong gang, Liao Fihong said in a loud voice. It turns out to be deputy leader Liao, Li Zihan said calmly. I wonder what deputy leader Liao has come to our Li family for. I don't want to talk to you. Let Li Xianun come out to see me, Liao Fihong put on a high profile. My grandfather is not at home, and my father is not at home. Now I am the one who makes all the decisions for the family. If you don't want to talk to me, please go back, Li Zihan said bluntly. Liao Fihong kept his eyes on Li Zihan, but he did not find any lies in Li Zihan's tone and expression. Could it be that Li Xianun and Li Changjin were really not in the Li family? If not, where did Li Xianun and Li Changjin go? This made him start to guess. Chapter 323 Death. However, speculation is speculation, but the current situation still needs to be resolved. Liao Fihong looked at Li Zihan again and said, "Are you in charge of all matters of the Li family now?" "Yes, Deputy Boss Liao, you can tell me your purpose," Li Zihan said lightly. If Lin Fan was not around, and Li Xianyun and Li Changjin were not on the family, she would not dare to face a person of Liao Fihong's level alone. But now that Lin Fan is by her side, she feels much more confident. She believes that Lin Fan can deal with this guy in front of him. The most important thing is that when they walked out just now, Lin Fan had told her not to show any fear when facing the other party, but to talk to the other party directly. Because the more fear you show, the more arrogant the other party will be. This kind of person should not be given too much face. Well, Liao Fihong smiled, then said seriously, "Since Li Xianyun and Li Changjin are not here, I can only talk to you. Besides, this matter is also related to you." "It's related to me." Li Zihan pretended to know nothing and asked curiously, "Deputy Leader Liao, what are you talking about? Please tell me clearly." Liao Fihong sneered, "Li Zihan, are you still pretending not to know? The matter I'm talking about is naturally that you killed Liu Feng and Meng Yuan." Liao Fihong didn't intend to beat around the bush. Seeing that Li Zihan pretended not to know, he brought up the topic. "What?" Li Zihan said in surprise. "Master Liu and others are dead." This was also what Lin Fan had told her in advance. Lin Fan had guessed that the people from the Qinglong gang would definitely talk about Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others. Although they did it, the Qinglong gang would definitely not be able to produce any evidence. They didn't need to admit it openly. They just had to pretend to be confused. Liao Fihong frowned and said, "Still pretending? Liu Feng and the others were killed because they were chasing you. Are you trying to tell me that you know nothing about this?" "Deputy Gang Leader Liao, I really know nothing about this. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known that Hall Master Liu and the others had an accident." Li Zihan was still surprised and said, "How could Hall Master Liu and the others die? Did they have an accident while driving?" Liao Fihong was a little confused by Li Zihan's surprised look. This didn't seem like he was pretending. But the deaths of Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and the others were definitely related to Li Zihan and the others. He took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "Li Zihan, don't play dumb. You Li family are so brave. Not only did you dare to break into the gate of our base, but you also ambushed people in the playground to kill Liu Feng and others. Do you really think we don't know anything?" After Liao Fihong said this, Lin Fan, Muran Zhu, Muran Shan and Li Zihan were 100% sure that their Qinglong gang really knew nothing and relied entirely on blind guesses. Moreover, this also greatly improved Lin Fan's status in the hearts of Muran Zhu, Muran Shan and Li Zihan. Because Lin Fan guessed the other party's thoughts again. The other party really thought that they had arranged others to ambush in advance, which led to the death of Liu Feng and Meng Yuan and others. "Deputy Gang Leader Liao, there must be some misunderstanding here. I didn't even know that Hall Master Liu and the others were dead. As for the ambush you mentioned, that never happened." Li Zihan shook his head and said, "Hall Master Liu has been good to us. Why should we kill him? Besides, if we kill him, we will definitely be held accountable by you. How could we possibly do such a thing? Who else could it be if not you?" Liao Fihong shouted again, "After you got rid of the Zhuang family, you became the largest family in Songhai. Only you dare to go against us. Which other family forces dare to go against us? Don't quibble anymore. I didn't come here today to listen to your quibbling. I came here to get an explanation. How do you, the Li family, plan to explain the death of Liu Feng and others?" Li Zihan naturally felt very uncomfortable with Liao Fihong's aggressive attitude, but there was nothing he could do. After all, Liao Fihong was a level 3 evolver and he did have the strength. At this time, Lin Fan took a step forward and walked to Li Zihan's side. His eyes fell on Liao Fihong and he said, "Deputy Gang Leader Liao, you are being unreasonable. We didn't even know that Master Liu and the others were in trouble, but you insisted on forcing the blame on us. Who are you?" Liao Fihong only noticed Lin Fan now. Just now, he was mainly looking at Li Zihan, Muran Shan and Muran Zhu, and Lin Fan was indeed ignored by him. If Lin Fan hadn't come out to talk at this time, he probably wouldn't have paid attention to Lin Fan from beginning to end. "Deputy Gang Leader, this is Lin Fan, the person who went to the trade fair with Li Zihan," the informer said next to Liao Fihong. Liao Fihong narrowed his eyes, stared at Lin Fan coldly, and said, "So you are the one who drove into the base. Boy, I have to say that you are very courageous, but you will soon know what the consequences of offending us are." Breaking into the base gate and killing Liu Feng and others, any of these two crimes is enough to make you lose your head. The words with a strong threatening atmosphere came directly from Liao Fihong's mouth. He wanted to show his arrogance and domineering appearance. First, this can test whether Li Xianyun and Li Changjin are in the Li family. If they are in the Li family, Li Xianyun and Li Changjin will definitely show up. Second, if Li Xianyun and Li Changjin are really not in the Li family, then he doesn't have to worry about anything. After all, he knows very well that Li Xianyun is the only level 3 evolver in the Li family. If Li Xianyun is not there, who else in the Li family can be his opponent? He can be as arrogant as he wants, and he doesn't have to worry about anything. If you want to accuse someone, you can always find a pretext. It seems that Deputy Gang Leader Liao is determined to make me lose my head, Lin Fan asked with a smile. Liao Fihong was instantly furious at Lin Fan's smiling and nonchalant attitude. A young boy dared to treat him like this. If he didn't show something, how could he have the authority to manage the people of Qinglonggang in the future? Boy, you must die today, Liao Fihong pointed at Lin Fan, and the murderous intent on his face was revealed without any concealment. Dong Fangling asked him not to really go to war with the Li family. He would listen to Dong Fangling's arrangements, but Lin Fan was not a member of the Li family. Killing Lin Fan would not only establish his prestige here, but also make him feel comfortable. After all, the attitude shown by Lin Fan in front of him made him more angry than Li Zihong pretending to be confused. It would be unjust for him not to kill Lin Fan. Must I? Lin Fan smiled faintly. Then I want to see how you make me die today. Chapter 324 Extremely shocked. Liao Fihong didn't expect Lin Fan to be so arrogant at this time. Since he became the deputy leader of the Qinglonggang, he has never been treated in this way. Deputy leader, this kid is really too talkative. You don't need to do anything. Let me take him down. A figure walked out from behind Liao Fihong and said respectfully. Okay, this unknown person is really not worthy of my attack, Liao Fihong sneered and said, just take him down for me. Don't kill him by mistake. I will personally end his life. Yes, the man nodded, then looked at Lin Fan viciously and said, boy, come out. Aren't you so arrogant? Let me teach you how to be low-key. Lin Fan has already checked the data of this person with a ring. The other party is a second-level evolver with various data of 9. Compared with others, this strength is already good, but compared with Lin Fan, it is really far behind. However, this person wants to come up and ask for a fight. This request, Lin Fan thinks it can still be met. You want to be low-key, right? Lin Fan's eyes flashed, and he said, indeed, you should be low-key. I didn't want to hit you, but you insisted, so I had to. Before he could finish his words, Lin Fan moved and rushed towards the man. The man didn't expect Lin Fan to dare to rush up to him. A look of disdain appeared in his eyes. He clenched his fist and wanted to hit Lin Fan. Lin Fan deliberately controlled his speed and did not show the speed of a third-level evolver. But when he rushed in front of the man, the power of his punch was indeed not small at all. He also clenched his fist and collided with the other person's fist. Bang! The collision of the two fists immediately made a dull sound. Crack! At the same time as the dull sound spread, there was also the sound of bones breaking. Ah! My hand! Then, the sound of screaming followed. Everyone clearly saw that the man's body flew backwards at this moment, and flew a full 20 meters before stopping. After falling, you can still see that person's facial expression is very distorted and painful. You know, Lin Fan's punch just now directly shattered all the bones in his hand. The shattering of so many bones really brought him incomparable pain. Everyone was shocked. They never thought that their people would be defeated in the first encounter, and they were defeated so miserably and so quickly. Liao Fihong's eyes also showed a touch of surprise. He stared at Lin Fan and quickly analyzed it. The speed at which Lin Fan rushed out just now was not very fast, about the same as that of a normal second-level evolver. But judging from the distance their people flew and the degree of their injuries, this is definitely not something that an ordinary second-level evolver can do. At least they are all top-level second-level evolvers. Yes, until this moment, he still didn't guess that Lin Fan was a third-level evolver. In any case, Lin Fan looked too young. It was already a very exceptional existence to be able to have the strength of a top-level second-level evolver at such an age. He didn't dare to think that Lin Fan was a third-level evolver. Boy, I didn't expect you to be so strong, Liao Fihong smiled grimly and said, no wonder you dare to be so arrogant. Well, in that case, let me teach you how to be a man. Lin Fan has the strength of a top-level second-level evolver, so few of the people he brought here are Lin Fan's opponents. Even if they can tie with Lin Fan, they can't punish Lin Fan. It is the safest choice for him to take action personally. Die for me, Liao Fihong shouted coldly, bursting out at full speed, rushing in front of Lin Fan like a ghost, stretching out his palm, and trying to grab Lin Fan's shoulder. If his move really landed on Lin Fan's shoulder, it would instantly lock Lin Fan's scapula, making Lin Fan unable to move. It must be said that he is indeed an old man with rich combat experience, which can be seen from the sharpness of his moves. Everyone's eyes were focused on Liao Fihong and Lin Fan. Including those members of the Qinglong gang, none of them even blinked an eye. Because they rarely see a third-level evolver like Liao Fihong take action, and being able to see it with their own eyes is an eye-opener. Many people still feel a little bit sorry. In their opinion, even if Lin Fan has the strength of a top second-level evolver, he can never be Liao Fihong's opponent. Liao Fihong only needs one move to take Lin Fan down. In this way, they naturally have no chance to watch Liao Fihong's attack. Facing Liao Fihong's attack, Lin Fan is still extremely calm. Of course, being calm on the surface does not mean that he will underestimate Liao Fihong's attack. In any case, Liao Fihong is a third-level evolver, and all the data have reached 13. If you are careless and underestimate such a person, it is easy to capsize in the gutter. When Liao Fihong's hand was less than 1 meter away from his shoulder, he suddenly burst out with speed, stepped on the ground with his feet, and immediately moved his whole body to the side, successfully dodging Liao Fihong's attack. What? Am I seeing things? He actually avoided the attack of the deputy gang leader? Is this the speed that a level 2 evolver can burst out? Absolutely not. I know very well what the maximum speed of a level 2 evolver is. A level 2 evolver cannot have such a fast speed, so, he is a level 3 evolver. The people of the Qinglong gang were all shocked while discussing. They would never have thought that Lin Fan had the strength of a level 3 evolver. But if he was not a level 3 evolver, he could not burst out such a fast speed. Liao Fihong himself was also shocked. He was 100% sure that Lin Fan was a level 3 evolver. Level 3 evolver, Liao Fihong suddenly reacted at this moment. He stared at Lin Fan and said word by word, "You have the strength of a level 3 evolver." Liu Feng and Meng Yuan did not die in an ambush at all. It must be the assassination you put on them. As a level 3 evolver, he knew very well that Liu Feng, Meng Yuan and others would not be able to defeat a level 3 evolver. We've already said that we just found out about Liu Feng and the others' death. If you don't believe us, there's nothing we can do. Lin Fan smiled faintly. Humph. I won't believe anything you say now, Liao Fihong snorted coldly and said, even if you are a level 3 evolver, I will take you down today. Although Lin Fan's strength as a level 3 evolver shocked him to the extreme, he could see that Lin Fan's burst speed should have just reached the level of a level 3 evolver, and he had been a level 3 evolver for a month, so he was confident that he could defeat Lin Fan. Chapter 325 Bare Hands Can't Hurt. Lin Fan has already shown such strong strength and growth potential, Liao Fihong can't leave Lin Fan behind. Because, from the current situation, it can be clearly determined that Lin Fan is on the side of the Li family. And their Qinglong gang will sooner or later attack the Li family, so Lin Fan is their enemy. Being able to get rid of the enemy earlier is equivalent to reducing the pressure at that time. Moreover, Lin Fan is so strong at such a young age. If Lin Fan is given some time to develop, he may be more powerful than them. Such a person must not be allowed to grow. After the cold shout, Liao Fihong rushed forward and quickly rushed towards Lin Fan, clenching his fists again and launching a crazy attack. Facing Liao Fihong's attack, Lin Fan remained calm, his eyes locked on Liao Fihong's fists, and his steps moved back to dodge again. Then, he raised his foot and kicked Liao Fihong fiercely. When fighting with someone like Liao Fihong, dodging is important, but attacking is also important. You can't just dodge blindly, otherwise it will only encourage Liao Fihong's ferocity. Liao Fihong had not expected Lin Fan to counterattack so quickly, but he caught Lin Fan's action, snorted coldly, and stretched out his hand to slap Lin Fan's leg. Lin Fan's eyes flashed, knowing that this kick could not reach Liao Fihong, and he quickly pulled his body back, retracting his foot, and at the same time avoiding Liao Fihong's palm attack. Bang! Bang! Then, the two of them fought each other with fists and flesh, and dull sounds continued to be heard as they fought. This scene stunned everyone, especially those from the Qinglong gang. They didn't expect Lin Fan's strength to be so powerful that he could fight so fiercely with Liao Fihong, who had already entered the third level evolution. If brother Lin Fan defeats this guy, he will be famous throughout Zhonghe. Muren Shan looked at the battle in the field and said with a smile. You can become famous throughout Zhonghe without being defeated, Li Zihan also said with a smile. Liao Fihong is the deputy leader of the Qinglong Gang. He is a representative of strong strength. Lin Fan can fight him like this, which is enough to show how powerful Lin Fan is. Murenzu nodded slightly. She could probably see that it was still difficult for Lin Fan to defeat Liao Fihong, but it was still difficult for Liao Fihong to defeat Lin Fan. With this speculation, the two of them might end up in a tie. Bang! Liao Fihong seized the opportunity and punched Lin Fan's arm muscles, making a dull sound. A not too painful feeling came from his arm, but Lin Fan didn't care. He clenched his fist with his other hand to fight back, but it hit Liao Fihong's chest. Bang! The same dull sound spread. Lin Fan and Liao Fihong's bodies retreated to the back. After his body stabilized, Liao Fihong groaned and kept his eyes on Lin Fan. He found that Lin Fan's facial expression did not change at all. In other words, the punch he just threw did not cause Lin Fan much pain. This made him feel a little unbelievable. You know, he is a level 3 evolver, and his strength data has reached 13. The punch just now, even if it hits the top level 2 evolver, can make the opponent feel pain for a long time, but when it hits Lin Fan did not have much reaction, which is simply unimaginable. What's going on? That guy was punched by the deputy gang leader, and he was still fine. Is his body made of steel? I don't know, but it looks like he's really fine. I think he must be pretending. We can't imagine how powerful the punch of the deputy gang leader is. How could he not react when he was hit? Yes, he doesn't have a body made of steel, he is definitely pretending. After seeing this scene, the people of the Qinglong Gang also started a heated discussion. They didn't believe that Lin Fan could withstand Liao Fihong's punch. They basically agreed that Lin Fan was acting and pretending not to feel pain. However, their words did remind Liao Fihong. A body made of steel? Not bad. When he and Lin Fan collided head-on, he really felt this way. It was as if Lin Fan's body was really strong. Lin Fan didn't give him time to think. After his body stabilized, he continued to attack him. In a blink of an eye, he rushed in front of him. The two fought again. 10 minutes later. There was still no winner. And, from the current situation, it seems that their strength is evenly matched. Liao Fihong can't defeat Lin Fan, and Lin Fan can't defeat Liao Fihong. The battle situation is deadlocked. But this is a huge insult to Liao Fihong. He is the deputy leader of the Qinglong Gang. He can't even defeat a young boy. How can he have face after the news gets out? Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth, and all his strength burst out without reservation, constantly attacking Lin Fan is getting braver and braver. After he broke through to the third level evolver, he just needed an opponent like Liao Fihong to have a hearty battle, so that he can better master the strength of the third level evolver. At the back, his body was under the attack of Liao Fihong, and Liao Fihong's body was also under his attack. However, since his defense data was 10, Liao Fihong had no additional defense data and could only rely on his own body to resist. Compared with the two, Liao Fihong suffered more and greater damage. Bang! The two attacked each other with a punch again, and their bodies retreated. Ahem, Liao Fihong stabilized his body and coughed. Lin Fan also stabilized his body. On the surface, there was no change, and the fighting spirit in his eyes became stronger. Deputy leader, hearing Liao Fihong's cough, the people of the Qinglong Gang hurriedly shouted with concern. Liao Fihong raised his hand and signaled that they didn't have to worry. Then, he said to the car he was sitting in, "Bring me my knife." Yes, one person nodded in response, immediately took out a big knife from the car, trotted to Liao Fihong, and handed the big knife to Liao Fihong. He was now 100% sure that if he fought Lin Fan with his bare hands, he would not be able to defeat Lin Fan even if he used all his strength. There was no other way. The main reason was that Lin Fan's body was too strong. He could not bring any harm to Lin Fan. Therefore, he decided to fight Lin Fan with a broadsword. He did not believe that Lin Fan's body could withstand the sharpness of the broadsword. "Brother Lin Fan, go ahead." Seeing Liao Fihong using a weapon, Muren Shen also took out Lin Fan's halberd, lowered his head and called out to Lin Fan, and then threw the halberd to Lin Fan. Lin Fan tilted his head to look, stretched out his hand and grabbed the halberd steadily in his hand. At this moment, under the sunlight, he stood there like a god of war, and a coercive aura continued to emanate from his body. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.